Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Monday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the ISRC Lariar Productions Truck Series. It's Season 8, race number 7, and with a shorter season, that means we are creeping the end of the regular season very quickly. It's only 9 races in total the regular season is, as this is the third to last race. The drivers of the ISRC Truck Series get prepared to tackle Nashville Super Speedway, a track we have not been to since Season 4. We'll see how much knowledge has been learned, how much the truck is different, and it all will be here at Nashville for the Battle of the Bands 200, presented by Lariar Productions. Drivers could be having fun here tonight. It is a themed race for drivers, so you're going to see a couple of different schemes for a lot of the drivers out there. They were asked to run their favorite bands, a scheme that's based around a band or a song, and our very own Larry Arts Production will be picking who his favorite scheme will be. That driver will earn $20, and if a driver that is running a band scheme wins, well, they also get $40. Enjoy the racing. It's going to be fun here tonight. We're excited to give you all the coverage, like always, here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Zach Hall. And Zach, coming off of last week at Atlanta, Vincent Sora, he's now a 2-time winner this season. The question is, can he be a 3-time winner potentially here tonight?
They very well could be a high, strong possibility of that because, you know, this concrete surface here at the Nashville Super Speedway, always known for high tire wear situations. So, you know, Atlanta, kind of that similar situation. It seemed like Vinsora really shined in that moment. His long run speed seemed like to be, you know, the top dog of the night. We'll see if he has that opportunity here, a chance. And we'll see if also those drivers that, you know, that certain group and that have continued that non-qualifying trend could be difficult to start back there if they do. So it's going to be fun to watch a few of those drivers. But Sam, I think tonight is going to be really, I think, a questionable night of who's going to be the driver. Like you said, because it's been a while since we've been here.
It really has been a while. We've only ran here 3 times in the past season, 1, 3, and 4. Of those 3 races, the driver that leads the most laps doesn't get the win all the time. As we've seen Ethan Smith get in the victory lane, Cedric Hunter in the past, and most recent winner being Nick Crawford. We'll see if Nick Crawford also, he's a driver that I'm curious about what speed he will have here tonight. Talking with him, doesn't feel very comfortable or confident in his tire wear saving. There's a lot of drivers, though, that feel like tire wear saving is going to be the big factor of tonight. Again, if it's your first time seeing Season 8 and you've seen past seasons, we removed the stage break. There are no longer stage breaks for the rest of this season, so drivers really could go from green flag to checkered if we keep it all together. And I feel like that's a factor here, Zach, with a track that is like Nashville Super Speedway. Staying green all the way through is a high possibility, and it could come down to tire strategy on who gets the win here this evening.
It very well could. This track is always known to have that style of racing. You know, it gets spread out. It's tough to pass. So anytime you have a track that's very much one group, particularly when it comes around here to be the bottom and tough to pass, you're going to see it spread out. And I think we'll most likely see that. But at the same time, this track is tricky. Things and situations pop up. A caution could be right around any corner, and that's when the mayhem starts to pop up in Nashville when you get those restarts one after another.
Well, early in the season, during qualifying, we saw a lot of poles being grabbed by Isaac Shelley. He's got a total of 3 so far this season. Alan Elwood's got 2 and Nick Crawford with 1. Those are our 3 drivers this season out of the 6 races that have been ran that have found themselves starting at the top for one of these races we've ran for Season 8. Curious on how tonight will be. There's been a lot of new faces that have been top of the board during practice that we got to keep an eye out and watch out for because they found some wicked speed. Jared Tallmadge has been looking very strong and quick. He's been very consistent this season. It's been awesome to watch. Pass winner, Ethan Smith, second fastest during practice. Ollie Fonseca, third fastest. Nick Crawford and Noah Steele. Those are your top 5 drivers based off of pure speed from practice. We'll see if they can translate that here for qualifying. This qualifying driver is going to be trying to heat up these tires, and first driver we're going to watch Trenton Jump in the 46 as he gets prepared for lap number 1. Zach, what's the big quality you feel like these drivers are looking for on this track while you're hitting these qualifying times?
Normally you're fighting usually a tight balance, especially in qualifying here. So the biggest thing is just trying to get the most speed on entry without missing the bottom groove. You saw Trent, he got all the way down to that yellow curbing, and you need to do that if you want to have a great lap here in Nashville, and especially down here in 3 and 4. Look, I'm getting right there, about a quarter of a truck off that yellow line. You would like to be like almost the left front tire right on it, but that's the goal. Try to get as low as possible and carry as much speed. And it looks like Jump that time around there. Don't see his time come through, actually.
Waiting to see. It looks like it's going to be 4th on the board for Trenton Jump for himself. Justin Smith, first lap fastest driver, top first 10 drivers to hit the track with a 29.913. It was a 29.782. That was the fastest time during practice. So not far off. That is a wicked pace from Smith, but it's going to be Joshua Stovall on his second lap. Vincent Sora second, and it is bouncing around on who can find the quick pace for themselves. Trent Jump bounces back up into 5th place, falls down to 4th, because Cody Smith in the 7 with some wild pace up to 4th.
Great time there by Cody Smith, and really excellent time from Stovall, like you said, to take that top spot. That's about 200ths of a second off our fastest time of the night. And Ali Fonseca, just as I said that, 1,000th of a second takes the top spot over Joshua Stovall. So it's a Fonseca, Stovall, Sora top 3 at the moment, with Justin Smith and Cody Smith join him in 4th and 5th. Is now Cochran. He's going to join him up in 5th.
And across the line, will Isaac Shelley find the pace to try to go for his 4th pole this season? It's going to be 11th on the board, so not fast enough as they'll money shift it to slow down. Now the drivers that are now topping the board, Ollie Fonseca, top of the board with a 29.8 flat. Then it's Joshua Stovall in 2nd. Noah Steele currently on pace to try to top the board. Desjer Talmadge, fastest lap over anyone. He was the fastest during practice and now the fastest after qualifying as his teammate Thomas Green across the line. He'll be 5th on the board. 4th is still Noah Steele, who's currently on his final lap of qualifying as he crosses the line. It's Noah Steele now, top of the board.
Wow, the times keep trickling down, and no surprise with this nighttime conditions, the track is getting better and better as it cools off. Now we're watching Alan Elwood here in the 4 machine, see what he can put down. Another driver coming around to put his final lap in, going to be Thomas Green. We'll see what he can do. He's not going to pick up on his second lap, so he'll stay 6th. We'll see where Elwood, though, can place himself. Elwood's been super quick this season. You're going to see he's going to take a little bit of a different approach than some of the others. And I thought, some would do this. They'd take that second lap and kind of throw away the first lap by running that top groove in 3 and 4 to get the big run down this front straightaway.
Teammate of Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, going to be 3rd fastest after his 2 laps have completed for the 78. As Alan Elwood trying to tie Isaac Shelley with 3 poles this season to be the most, as it's going to be Richard Thomas now going to be in 6th position for the 37 after his first lap, as Nick Crawford going to fall to 7th after finishing his 2 laps. And here's Alan Elwood taking a slow approach on his first lap down to the apron across the line. The 4 wants the pole, and was it enough? No, it's 3rd fastest for Alan Elwood. Even with taking that different approach, it just was not fast enough. But speed, we've seen the drivers that were in our top 3 during practice be top of the board. Jared Talmadge, who was the fastest during practice, he's 2nd fastest. So going to be Noah Steele, who was quickest, who was 5th quickest during practice, has the pole. Can the driver that was the 2nd fastest top the times? Let's see, as Ethan Smith's first lap did not count, and he won't get the 2nd. He ran out of time for the 00 to even put a lap in.
That's a huge moment there. Ethan Smith not getting that lap in. Like you said, he was 2nd fastest in practice, so we expected something big there, but it's Noah Steele, and by quite a margin too, Sam. That is an impressive lap time by the 8 machine.
And Noah Steele's done this before. Back in season 3, had the pole time during that race. Didn't lead a lot of laps during that run, but was a driver that found the quick pace, and it looks like success finds himself once again here at Nashville Super Speedway. Well, with qualifying out of the way, same for the practice, we now enter our warm-up period where drivers have 5 minutes to get any last-minute preparations for tonight's featured race. 150 laps here tonight. No stage, no fast repair. 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. Fuel looks to be around 60 laps that these drivers can go, but with this warm-up, it also gives us time to take a little bit of a deeper look at how this season has progressed so far. Let's first take a look at the point standings, and the point standings are very simple when you look at just the top 12 in points. Top 12 in points, they automatically make the chase. If you're 13th to 20th in points and you have a win, you'll be an additive. But looking at these points currently, it's Vincent Soar, Thomas Green, Jarrett Tallman, John Forbes, top of the point standings. But you look around that cutoff line, it's Joshua Stovall, Garcia, Tyler Dingler, Danny Cochran, Ryan Ferraro. I mean, Zach, some of those drivers we were talking about how well they ran in the first 4 races of this season, starting to see a couple of them falling off. They need to refine that pace, especially Ryan Ferraro.
That's for sure. It definitely has been kind of a fall off for a few of these drivers. And last week Isaac Shelley had his great run that moved him 4 spots up from 10th or all the way up to 10th. So he was on the outside looking in. He moved through, and he needs to continue his great runs he's been having. Danny Cochran, like you said, he was one of the ones that dropped out, and Logan Brakey 5 spots lost after last week. So some drivers definitely going to need to rebound after a big loss for a few.
And also 2 drivers that are on the rebound after very poor starts to the season. Ollie Fonseca 17th. He was second to last in points after the first 2 races of the season. He's up to 17th, trying to do kind of a similar thing that we saw Vincent Sora do in WSSR this previous season. And also Cody Reed 20th in points. They both need a strong performance here this evening. And talking about how these past performances have been, let's take a look at the schedule of how the schedule has been so far. And here's the ways that it's lined up. We had Daytona, Homestead, Watkins Glen, Chicagoland, Pocono, and then last week at Atlanta. We've seen multiple different winners. The pole sitters have gone back and forth, and now we add a new name to that list, and Nick Crawford. But we only have Nashville as well as Auto Club Las Vegas. Those are the last races of the regular season. Bristol is the all-star race. That's kind of a break before we get into the chase later on in the season. But Zach, these final 3 races, this is exciting to watch. I am thrilled with the way that this regular season is going to be ending.
I am too, Sam. It's really impressive because, like we were talking about, probably last week, I believe it was, where there's not many short tracks in this regular season. So when we get the Phoenix and Rockingham, that could shake things up with people not really being ready for those races. So it's going to be, I think, a really strong finish. First off, with Nashville here tonight and Auto Club in Las Vegas to finish out the regular season. I mean, with those 3 tracks, those are kind of tracks other than tonight that a lot of people know very well. So we could have a very close finish to this regular season to make the playoffs that much more important.
As we now dive into tonight's race, there's a couple of drivers that we feel like might be those to watch out for as we have our pick'ems for each race. And we make these picks before qualifying during the practice session. So sometimes we pick right, sometimes we pick wrong, and I feel like I might have picked right on the money. I decided to go with Noah Steele as my pick entering into tonight. That 8 machine looked quick in the past and saw the pace looking good during practice. Now it's about putting it all together during the race, but that is going to be my driver to watch out for, the 8 machine of Noah Steele. Zach, who do you have as a driver to watch out for here tonight?
I love that call, Sam, but I'm going to have to go with the number 3 of Thomas Green. I just like what I've seen from Thomas this season. He's just been so consistent, and this just seems like, a track that he would be very, very good at. We've seen him be good at Iowa, just tracks that are different than the other circuits that have different characteristics. I think the 3 could be one to watch out tonight and be possibly joining Vincent Sora as the second-time winner tonight.
I love that pick. That was my second driver if Noah Steele wasn't able to be picked for myself. I love it. And our third member of our group, running productions in the background, that's Robert Moyer Jr. He's going to go with the 78 of Nico Garcia. I know Nico's got a lot of fans out there. Nico's looking for a good race performance, has looked very good in the first half of races. It's the second half that he needs to find a way to get into victory lane, and being told it's his birthday. Nico Garcia, happy birthday for that 78 team, hoping to have a little bit of birthday magic for himself here tonight. As warm-up is concluding, that means all that's left is tonight's race. Again, 150 laps, no stage break and no fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road, and you've got 31 drivers ready to hit the course to see who can find themselves into victory lane or just find good footing to carry forward in the rest of this regular season. We also want to say thank you to the primary sponsor of Larry Arts Productions for being the primary sponsor for the season and tonight's race, the Battle of the Bands 200, presented by Larry Art Productions. Drivers are running special schemes this evening, honoring bands, honoring songs, and they were having some fun with it. I know a lot of drivers were excited with tonight's race to show off their schemes under the lights. As the drivers are gridding up, let's take a look at our starting grid here this evening for the Battle of the Bands 200. Full award first time this season. Welcome to the stats in season 8. It's Noah Steele and the 8 machine. To his outside, going to be the driver who's been very consistent this season. It's Jarrett Talmadge in second place. Alan Elwood going to be starting in third. Nico Garcia, a pick from Robert Moyer Jr. and the birthday boy, going to be starting in fourth, with Ali Fonseca in fifth. Joshua Stovall trying to carry on some good momentum after some strong finishes recently. He needs a rebound after last week's running. He will be starting in sixth position. Seventh, we find Richard Thomas with the 74 of Nick Crawford. In eighth, ninth is Michael Miller. And then finishing out our top 10, it's the 3 of Thomas Green.
Last week's winner will start in 11th. That's Vincent Sora. 12th is going to be the 45 of Justin Smith. 13th is going to go to the 77 of Malik Kuntz. Danny Cochran going to start in 14th with Cody Reed rounding out the top 15. 16th is going to go to Cody Smith, with 17th going to Trenton Jump as we watched his lap on qualifying. 18th is going to be the 5 Dakota Moniz. 19th is going to be the 10 of Ryan Farrar, and rounding our top 20 is the 16 of Joshua Kanata.
In 21st, we find the 29 of Logan Brakey. Isaac Shelley not able to get the time that he was hoping for. He'll start all the way down in 22nd position. 23rd is Tyler Dengler, with Samuel Garcia in 24th. Mark Labertone returning after his one race suspension. The 44 will start in 25th, but watch out, he's got some sneaky speed. Saw during practice, just didn't translate it during qualifying. Also, watch out for the 53 of Eric Stamp. He's still trying to march his way through the field. 27th will be Mark Morales Jr. and Justin Forbes, finishing out all the drivers that put in a time. Those that were not able to put down a time. John Forbes, who's having some connection issues, finally got connected in, but he'll start all the way down in 29th position, with Ethan Smith and TJ Calloway being the last of our 31 drivers here tonight. Zach, no stage. I think that's the portion of this race that's really going to change the factor of the mentality for drivers. We said that all season long. But with Nashville Super Speedway, I think it really does show on the fact that this is going to be a race where it's a lot more mental than it is physical here this evening.
Oh, for sure. I think you got to be really smart in this opening phase, too, because you don't want to give up much track position, but you don't want to overwork the tires because you don't know how long we'll go here. So it's going to be, like you said, kind of a mentality race of what you decide to do. So you got to put yourself in good situations, and the drop of the green flag here is definitely going to be wild.
It certainly will be. Also, props to the drivers last week. No penalties were given out, so no one's forced to the end of the line. Everyone stays where they qualified, and that means it is in the hands of Noah Steele and the 8. Welcome to the Battle of the Bands 200, presented by Larry Art Productions. We are green. It's Noah Steele, Jarrett Talmadge side by side and outside lane 8, taking off very well. It's Alan Elwood giving a huge push to the 8, down into turn number 1.
Great push from the 4 to that 8. That really allowed Noah just to clear that outside line. Oh, Elwood a little bit loose there. Cold tires. Need to get a little heat into him as the instability right there come on. Very close, because now 27 and Jarrett Talmadge are going to immediately look to the inside of the 4 and try to take advantage of this, but it is very tough to make that pass work.
Noah Steele running the Bud number 8 machine. He will lead lap number 1. A strong start for Noah Steele, who wants to get himself into victory lane. It's been quite a while since this 8's been able to do so. But behind him have been the drivers that have been dominating this season. Alan Elwood, Jarrett Talmadge side by side for second place. And you want to get single filed out quickly, but you want to make sure you're the driver who moves forward and ahead. And Alan Elwood's able to do so. As our top 10 drivers, not a lot of movement going on. The switch up for second and third, and as well a change up for 8th and 9th are the only changes so far. Once again, thank you for joining with us. My name is Sam Dyer with Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. Ryan Productions in the background, and Zach, it is Noah Steele still looking strong up front.
That he is. Still is being very, very good about just making sure he gets to the bottom and covering it off, not allowing that 4 to peek a nose to the inside, because that's very easily a way to give up kind of some vulnerability for yourself. As we're looking right here, Joshua Stovall in the A little bit of a different color scheme here tonight, Sam. Is everybody repping those band schemes?
Yeah, repping the band schemes. No longer the brown crew for tonight. He is the red, white, and blue for the 42. As Stovall continues to try to push his way forward. Alan Elwood now going to have the fastest lap for himself. But seeing a different scheme to run on board this 42, running in 6th place. It's such a crucial race, like we talked about during the point standings. He was one of those drivers that has looked very strong this season. Poor performance last week at Atlanta. Lost 2 points in the point standings, runs 11th in points, and that is not a safe place to be. Knowing you've got Auto Club, Las Vegas, tracks that are a lot more trap package where you can find yourself in trouble at any moment. So this 42 recognizing tonight a top 10. If anything, you must have a top 5 here tonight to solidify yourself in the points to make the chase.
You're exactly right, Sam. You got to get things going the right direction here. Now look at the 2 of Danny Cochran. He fell outside that top 12 last week, so Cochran needs to have a good run. He cannot afford to have a bad finish here tonight. He needs to definitely make sure these next 3 are his best of the season if he wants to have any comfortable feelings, especially going into the regular season finale.
As Danny Cochran sporting some different colors, as this is his Jimmy Buffett scheme. A huge Jimmy Buffett fan is Danny Cochran, as he is having fun out there, always known for bringing out some of the more colorful schemes for the field to watch. And for Danny, again, a crucial drive for himself as he enters tonight 14th in points, as he's trying to make that push to make the playoffs. See the 15 of Vincent Sora currently just lingering where he's at in the middle of the field and trying to find a way to go forward. Is Talmadge, tough run for himself, as Nico Garcia saying apologies over the radio with the 27. Zach Troubles, what did you see for himself as it looked like it was going into 1?
Oh, it's just such a very easy mistake to be made here. Garcia was looking to the inside, had the run kind of, you kind of come upon each other here after this this dog leg here in the corner, and you can get right to the inside, and I think maybe even a little netco, but possibly there. But just look at Jared Talmadge, though. Wow, what a save from him. No damage. That is the biggest thing. He drove that thing all the way to that wall and made sure he stayed out of it. So that was exactly what you want to see if you're Jared Talmadge. I mean, you don't want to lose his spots, but it could have been a way worse situation. You're going to see, look, Garcia go there, and yeah, it's just a slight bit of, the driver's going for that same line there, and it's very easy to do on the entry to 1.
Same line, and that was a big thing I saw during practice when drivers were trying to race around one another, was the different braking zones. Some drivers were braking a lot sooner to protect their tires. Others were lunging forward to try to make some passes. It looked like there for Garcia, he was lunging for the pass, but trouble going to be happening further on back. Caution is out. And it's the 44 of Mark Labertone, as well as the 11 of John Forbes, going to be involved with this incident.
Oh, and this is going to be some pretty big net code here, actually, Sam. At first I saw, I was like, oh no, what happened here? But it's going to be the 11 of John Forbes just trying to make a pass here around the 44. You're going to see they're 3 wide already here, going down to the 1. And I think the 44, he's going to sell it off here in the middle, and he's going to slide up from that middle groove up to that 3rd groove. John Forbes sees his opportunity. Now he's going to look to the inside and see there, look at that huge amount of net code that spins the 44 around and just collects the 11.
This looks like this might be the start of the story for this evening of netcode being an issue. If it's your first time watching online or racing, netcode's a pretty well-known thing that happens in a lot of different racing and just video games in general. It's that network displacement that happens where what you visibly see and what's being delivered on data over the internet they don't match. And so an invisible hitbox was shown there that made the contact as the 11 able to drive away. Not as much damage as it could have been, kind of similar to Jared Talmadge, where it could have been a lot worse, but a good wheelmanship by all drivers to just make slight contact and spin it around, staying away from the wall.
Definitely a good job by everybody to do that for sure. It could have just continued to be worse. So, we've seen how Rex can continue on, and now John Forbes, I'm sure Mark Labertone will also come down here to get some of those damages repaired, because really the worst thing that happened there was when it spun the 44 around, the front end of the 11 and the front end of the 44 kind of came together. So it really caused their front ends to have more damage, and that is not what you want to have happen. So they'll be sitting there for a little bit of time to get that damage fixed, but I'm not surprised to see majority of the field here just electing to stay out.
But there was still a pretty good margin of drivers that decided to come into pit road, being led by Thomas Green, Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, Ethan Smith, Ryan Ferraro, Dakota Moniz, Cody Smith, Sam Garcia, Justin Forbes, and Mark Morales joining into the mix of drivers that decided to hit pit road. Most of them 4 tires and fuel. 2 of them, though, just topping off on fuel. That's going to be Ethan Smith and Ryan Ferraro, just doing a little bit of a top off on fuel. So interesting calls. I know these drivers have 4 sets of tires in pit road to work with, so feeling like, hey, let's use a set early on in tonight's race.
That is, yeah, that's a head scratcher. You know, I could see maybe if you're farther back, kind of electing to do that strategy, but some of these guys, they must feel like, you know, that 10 laps on tires is going to make a huge difference. I mean, you look at lap time wise, there wasn't a considerable amount of fall off we were seeing from those tires. I mean, maybe 3/10 to 2/10 at most. I think you'll see a lot of that come back here with the cooling down phase of the tires. But by the end of, you know, the run, when it's all said and done, those fresher tires could really play a huge dividend.
Got a bunch of fans out there in the chat rooting for all the different drivers, hoping to see victory for their favorites. Got people rooting for, like always, Joshua Stovall fans out there. Have Ethan Smith fans out there. Nico Garcia, as well as seeing, it looks like Cedric Hunter, past winner of this race. He's rooting for the 74, 15, and the 2 here this evening. So we got a couple of drivers, got some fans. Curious on if there's anyone else out there. Who are you rooting for? What team are you rooting for to find success here this evening? The drivers are stacked up. Pace car lights are off. We are going this time by. Just were able to go 10 laps before our first caution coming out. We'll see how much longer we can stay green this go around. Pace car into pit road, entering the restart zone here very quickly. It's Noah Steele, Alan Elwood. Who protected their tires the best? Let's find out as we are green once again for the Battle of the Bands 200 presented by Larry R Productions. It's the inside of Noah Steele who gets the good launch, and really pretty even from second on back as they're a stack 3 wide for 3rd place for a quick moment.
Wow, Elwood got way up the racetrack, but he had a huge run because of that. Now look, he's going to cut to the inside of the 8 here and be barely clear of his teammate Nico Garcia. And now Elwood going to take advantage of this restart, and look at that, the 4 to the lead off of turn number 4, and he's going to slide up right in front of the 8, but the 8, a little contact there. That was almost disaster.
And you can see the rest of the field. They're trying to scatter and make all these passes. With how difficult it is to make moves later on in the run, you need to make your passes immediately. And for Alan Elwood, he did not wait. He took advantage. It looked like a bizarre move, but it works out for the Ford machine as he is trying to pull away other drivers that are side by side. It's Ali Fonseca and Joshua Stovall for 4th place. Stovall is on the move. No longer wants to linger in 6th. He wants to crack into the top 5 and stay there, solidified in 4th.
Well, maybe Noah still right there trying to graze the wall there with that 8 machine. But look at this. Like you said, the 42 trying to make work on the 24 Fonseca here. But also you got the 37 Richard Thomas, who's doing a great job here as that Elwood Designs team is running very strong here to start tonight's race.
And Thomas is looking very good here tonight. Again, a couple of drivers sporting schemes to go with the theme of Battle of the Bands. Others going with new schemes that they're going to be running for the rest of the season. And this 37 going with the bright lime green with some camo, and it is a sharp scheme that we are seeing here this evening. I know our producer, Robert Moyer Jr., one of his favorite schemes of the night, it's the Creed machine by Nick Crawford. Is trouble in the middle of the field. It's a driver going around. It's Eric Stamp who's sent to the wall.
Oh, no, that's not what you want to see there. Stamp looks like hard collision with the wall for him, as I think we might have had some this was a interesting little bit of contact where one truck hits another, then that truck hits the next one, and the next one hits him. So it's kind of that chain reaction event, you would say. So down in turn 1, 53 getting hit. I believe it was eventually Cody Reed who had the last hit on him, but Cody got hit too right here, Sam. So I think we're going to see a little bit of chain reaction.
Yeah, there's the contact of going to be Thomas Green into Cody Reed, who then just sends the 53 into the outside wall. Luckily, no one else involved with this incident, but it resets, restacks, and the drama-filled restarts, well, they get another chance at going forward. And the big reason why you're going to see this huge lunge, Thomas Green gets slightly pushed by Vincent Sora, and those drivers are all on fresh rubber. I think the 10-lap difference, a lot bigger than maybe those drivers were expecting, with also being in the middle of the field, of having to back off sooner, the different braking zones. it really shifted up this group, as you can see the 15 pushing the 3, pushes the 25, and away goes of Eric Stamp.
Yeah, and I think also the 3, not, he, like you said, he's getting pushed off the nose with the 15 there, and he's probably thinking, all right, I'm getting a good push for him. Maybe I could dive it up the inside here, not thinking the 25 is going to, close that door, but Cody Reed's thinking he's going to get to the inside of the 53. So they both were kind of thinking forward, and they just all came together. And unfortunately, Stamp was the one that got the short end of the stick.
As we are 18 laps in, the drivers coming into pit road to get service looked at. That's going to be Martin Morales, as well as Ethan Smith and Eric Stamp still in pit road getting repairs done. Those that pitted on our previous caution, Thomas Green, Danny Cochran, Vincent Sora, they were the ones that were moving the best on that restart, as they moved up 3 positions for the 3 of them, up to now 15th, 16th, and 17th. Still a lot of work if they want to get back up front, but strategy's always a gem to watch on how these drivers can go back and forth with the different calls on tires or not. And after last week's strategy called events, we saw the 2 stop and the 3 stops on how you wanted to use your tires and fuel. Zach, I feel like tonight it's a little bit more of an absolute, if this race goes green, it is a 2 stop from here.
Yeah, I completely agree, Sam. I think no brainer when it comes to that. You talk to Nick Crawford, who loves to do off the wall strategies. I said, what kind of strategy you got tonight? He said, plain vanilla strategy. Nothing out of ordinary. He says he doesn't want to change anything up because this race is just going to be, I think, a straightforward, like you said, 2 stop.
I mean, that was a fun conversation. I was also listening in with the Cannon Fire team, and the way that Nick was describing, all right, I threw out my strategy last week. You can't blame me this week on what you guys do. It was kind of fun to hear the team dynamic of drivers, of who's willing to do the strategy calls, who's not. They also said their math person for their team is Joshua Kanata. He's usually the one who's trying to figure out the fuel mileage runs, who can make it as far as they can go. So we'll see if that 16 can assist those drivers to get into victory lane, or is it going to be the drivers from Elwood Design Esports, as Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, as well as Richard Thomas, all 3 of those drivers inside of the top 10, looking quick. They seem to be the team to watch out for, as Noah Steele going to have his first attempt on this restart to be the driver on the outside, not going to be the control vehicle, as the 8 lingering ahead, trying to get the timing right for when this 4 machine decides to go. As we're about to enter the restart zone, we're green once again for the Battle of the Bands 200, as Alan Elwood enters the restart zone, take off and go, and he timed that thing perfectly as Nico Garcia follows through into 2nd place for the 78.
Oh, that's perfect. Like you said, that was just well-worked teamwork there, and 1-2 for the Elwood Designs group there. And now it's going to be Noah Steele, our pole setter, fighting the 42, Joshua Stovall, who's done a great job to drive up from 6th here. Now we're fighting for a top 3 position.
As driver that was down on the apron, that was Eric Stamp, who's back out on track 2 laps down and still lingering with some damage to work with. But a lot of the drivers up front, top 4 in line. It's the battling for 5th on back that are side by side, and it's really around that 5th, 6th, 7th position where it is a cluster of drivers packed right on top of one another. And now lingering to the top is Nick Crawford, looking for a nose to get on the outside of Thomas, not able to do so. Instead, they'll follow the drivers on the outside, diving down low. It's going to be Trent Jump for a moment, but backs out, and he needs to, because they're squeezing close here. This is all battling for 6th on back, and they're almost 3 wide. Zach, I don't know how they're still running straight, but you can tell Trent Jump wants to send it 3 wide, but continues to back out early.
The 99 of Michael Miller there, driving it in super deep, not allowing that 46 to go to that inside, and he's trying to clear the 37, but I think it's going to be to no avail, because now he's going to get put in the sucker hole behind that in the middle with the 74 Crawford on the outside, and the 46 Jump again, as now the 99 finally slides down in front of the 46, but it's going to be the 74 to the quarter panel, and that's what you don't want to give up. You allow someone to get to that quarter panel, you're so vulnerable for not being able to exit the corner the way you need to by letting the truck slide out towards the wall. When you have a truck on that outside, it is so tough to exit the corner with speed.
as the 5 on screen and 99 on our ticker. Michael Miller continues to run the inside through. We see Trent Jump, he moves to the outside. He wants to follow the driver that he feels like is going to make the pass. And Nick Crawford has looked to be faster, so Crawford going to be slightly further ahead. But that outside wall off of 4 is creeping for the both of them, and it's going to be the Creed machine. Big wiggle, but keeps his foot on the throttle. Almost fully clear, and now it's Trent Jump's turn. But every lap that they go into turn number 1, Miller is just destroying that right front tire with every way he drives into the corner.
He's definitely going to be hurting that tire for sure by going in that deep on that bottom side, but he's trying to fight for positioning because he knows if he keeps giving up these spots, like I think right here more than anything, you need to just almost roll over for Trenton Jump and try to get in line, because if you wait too long, you battle Trenton Jump, you allow the likes of maybe Isaac Shelley back here on this outside group to fight up to your right rear quarter panel, and then you're just getting trained backwards.
Well, the problem is the drivers who pitted on lap 10, they are marching forward just quickly and efficiently and allowing the rest of their competition just to burn up their tires. That's Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, Danny Cochran. They have been staying low on the inside and just forcing drivers up high. There's the 3 leading those that have already pitted. You see the graze of the wall, I believe it was the 99. I mean, the 77 of Malik Kuntz. These drivers have to be careful with the different pace. It looks like for Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, they're almost up the same shenanigans that brought out the last caution, a bump drafting into 1.
Stack-ups can lead to big things for sure, and we've seen that already happen here once tonight. Is now Green to the inside of his teammate Shelley here, trying to make that pass here and clear this truck. Oh, caution's out.
Caution's out, and it's the 7 of Cody Smith. It looks like John Forbes getting ran over by the 7. Jared Talmadge finishing the job on Cody Smith, and for Smith, he's got a little bit of that right front damage he's going to have to deal with, and we're going to see here on the replay of seeing the 7 machine trying to go back and forth. I don't know if this is, got to see back here. Yeah, this is the action that brings out the caution. It's the 7 of Smith, 11 of John Forbes, taking the big blimp, and you see Smith contact with the 11, and then Jared Talmadge, following the same speed as the 7, runs right into him as well.
Again, another stack up accordion effect, as now we'll see again here from a little bit closer in shot is the 11 of Forbes is going to make the pass and clear, and it's going to be 3 wide on the inside here of the 7. He's going to drive in the corner. I think what he's going to do is try to jump down here to cover off these drivers, drive it in there. He thought the 11 might drive it in deeper, but John's just trying to back the corner to get a great exit to set up the exit and sends him around. But you know, Smith goes up into the wall while John Forbes, I mean, he completely drifts around the whole corner, doesn't touch the thing. So, you know, just hurt tires for the 11.
And for John Forbes, he'll have to make a decision of, do I take tires or not? As a couple of more drivers decide to go into pit road for this go around. 28 laps in. For some, this is their first pit stop. Tires, fuel. It's Nick Crawford going to go into pit road. And talking with Nick Crawford, he was thinking about going with an odd strategy. 2 tires would seem to be the call. He wants to loosen up this truck. And a couple of other drivers curious if they're going to follow the same suit. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for the majority of those that pitted from 19th on back.
We'll see how this 2 tires works. And like you said, yeah, it'll loosen that truck up a little bit. So we'll see how that helps the balance. Does it help? Does it hurt? Does it hate? You know, sometimes this is for more of a takeoff balance. You know, it could help his takeoff speed, hurt the long run speed, or it could be vice versa. It takes off a little worse and it helps the long run speed. So when you're doing that this early in the race, you know, not only are you looking for some track position, but also sometimes looking for maybe a slight balance change of that truck.
Looking at drivers make the decision of when they want to come into pit road and get service done. Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, also going to be seeing Noah Steele and Richard Thomas. Going to be the drivers in your top 4. Trent Jump, Michael Miller going to be 5th and 6th, with Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, Logan Brickey, and Danny Cochran finishing out our top 10. So those lights are off. We're stacked side by side. About to be going back to green flag racing. And if you have been watching for us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting in the past, well, you're excited to be seeing WSSR. The Cup Series is going to be back to racing action beginning of May. That's right when the playoffs are going to be happening with the ISRC Truck Series. So we'll be back to 2 races a week. We've been missing the WSSR Cup Series. It's been kind kind of weird, Zach. I would say just doing one broadcast a week, I know it doesn't throw you off as much, but it throws me off just doing one race because I'm so used to doing 2 or more, and just having one. Kind of weird to settle back in once the weekend's over.
Yeah, I get in that normal flow too because normally I'm racing 2 times a week, broadcasting once a week. The past few weeks I haven't been doing none of that, so it has just been this broadcast, and yeah, that feels just awkward sometimes when we don't get all of our racing in, but it'll be back soon enough.
Cannot wait to see those next-gen cars back out on track for season 11 of the WSSR Cup Series. But we're back to giving you the coverage of the Truck Series into the restart zone, and we're green once again. Elwood, Nico Garcia going to be the top 2 as they take off and go down into turn number 1. It's the teammates trying to stay together as they now have all 3 Elwood design drivers in line trying to stay ahead of Steele and Trenton Jump.
This is a great start here for the field. They really needed it.
Trouble. And it's the 5, Dakota Moniz going around for himself and multiple other drivers trying to slow down when it's the entry of turn 3, looking like a mess with all the drivers spinning around.
Ooh, man, I was just saying that was a good-looking start for a lot of the field, and I see a truck out of nowhere just shoot left, and I think that was this 5 machine here. He's got this Slim Shady machine. I love that. I love that paint scheme that he's got going on there. You're gonna see off the exit corner. Oh, just 2 drivers coming together. I believe that was. Can't see what number that was.
I believe that was the 97 of Justin Forbes and Dakota that get together.
Yeah.
And that was the battle for 4th place between those 2. For Justin Forbes, the Metal Death machine and Slim Shady getting together right in front of the field, and that's a worst case scenario to have a driver spin out and overcorrect back into the field where the 3 wide, nowhere to go, and this piles in multiple drivers into this incident. And during this wreck, Ryan Ferraro in the 10 machine, a lot of damage. He's backed out of this race. Looks like it is done for Ferraro, and that could be the snuffed out done for trying to make even the playoffs for the 10 machine.
Might be put into a must-win position, and even that will be tough too because he's got to keep those points in the top 20. So we'll see how that works out. But tough break even for Joshua Stovall, Ali Fonseca. They were having great runs here in the top 5 before all this, and they're just, like you said, worst case scenario, the 5 goes left, and then when it comes back around to the right in front of the field like that, that is, I mean, 3 wide, multiple rows deep. Not many people are going to make it through that.
The big thing that with Nashville Super Speedway, it's got Super Speedway in the name, but it's actually a pretty slow track. In distance, it's 1.33 miles. It runs very similarly to other 1.5-mile tracks, but much slower. So contacts that we saw there with us coming off the exit of the corner weren't as brutal as they could have been. Ryan Ferraro, the only one calling it a night. The rest of the field into pit road, getting slight damage repaired for some. Others able to just settle in. This has been an awkward start to tonight. 32 laps already in the books. And Zach, this was not the start of the race I was expecting. I thought we were going to be going green probably for 40 to 50 laps before we got our first caution, but we've been riddled with them here in the first 30.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I mean, literally, when I come in here and sat down for this, I thought we would see a very much strung out race that would happen. Kind of spread out a little bit, and it's not been that way. But that is the thing. This track here can kind of breed those yellow flags just due to the factor of it is tough to pass. You have people really fighting to make passes on a preferred groove, which is the bottom when you're by yourself. But when you're side by side, the preferred groove's on the outside. So it kind of makes that awkward dance of, well, I want to pass you to the inside because I'm faster, but now you're on the outside on my door and I can't carry as much speed. So it kind of comes into one of those battles where you play chicken and next thing you know, people are wrecking off the exits of the corner. And, of course, you had netcode come up tonight, too. So we've had a few unfortunate incidents.
Couple of unfortunate circumstances happening, but it has been all Elwood Designs Esports dominating. Top 3 positions is where they line up. For that 4 machine of Alan Elwood, Nico Garcia, and Richard Thomas, they continue to run where they're at. As Noah Steele, our pole sitter, needs to find a different way to get around. It just seems like once the teammates took the lead, they have been in complete control of these restarts, timing it perfectly. And now it's down to the rest of the team, rest of the drivers. How can they get around this 4 if there's a later time or if there's a caution that sends the 4 and go further in the back? As space car is off, we enter the restart zone. The Battle Advance 200 presented by Lariar Productions is back underway. And it's a great launch for the 4, and it's a wall for second on back.
And it is a wall for sure, as Thomas is going to be side by side with Nico Garcia there. So the 1, 2, 3 for the moment for Elwood Designs is Trenton Jump's going to try to break that up, as now he's right on the back bumper of the 37 down the back straightaway. He thought for a moment to look to the inside, but just thought better of it on the entry.
As the driver is going to be on top of one another, it's going to be St. Thomas as well as Garcia. Be careful of one another on the exit of 4 as Trenton Jump. How much patience is left under this 46 machine, as it looks like he wants to take off and go, but behind them, Thomas Green, Vincent Sora, and Danny Cochran, and the rest of the group is, hold on, caution in the back, and it's Justin Smith and the 45 going around.
Oh, this is another incident into the entry of the corner, and I think this is going to be one of those incidents where it's 3 wide and 3 drivers squeezing into really not 3 spot lanes on the racetrack. So this happens a lot here, especially at this track, because you get up out of really that 3rd group and you get to the 4th group, it is not a lot of grip. So a lot of times when you're in that 3rd group, you kind of pinch that guy down in that 2nd group. But
I think we back up, we'll see it.
Yeah, I think, like I said, if we back up here a little bit, we'll see this, and it's involving the 24 Fonseca and also the 45 Justin Smith.
I mean, spun around just the tail end of that incident, and it's going to see it here. I mean, the drivers are stacking up. They already brushed the wall off the exit of turn 4, and 3 drivers. Ollie Fonseca really forcing the issue in a way. He could have backed out, but I think for Justin Smith, I think he might have been expecting the 24 to back out of that race, give it a little bit of extra room. Not the case. Smith, a little bit of a graze and a spin. Not big wrecks are happening. It's been a lot of saves, but hey, you're sideways just enough. And iRacing deems we need a caution for these slides.
That's for sure. Yeah, they definitely. It don't matter the extent of the yellow. Sometimes it just matters how sideways you're on the track. Sometimes, so definitely. Justin Smith liking the fact that that yellow did at least come out. That lets him at least go get this truck worked on. And really, for the hit he took to the wall, you could barely tell he even touched it. So, like you said, Sam, we've had a lot of incidents here tonight, but not a lot of major damage. So we're keeping that field nice and big, and also a lot of trucks on the lead lap to make these restarts that much more wild.
And looks like it is going to be the 00 of Ethan Smith, going to be given our Lucky Dilla Award, as he is going to be 1 lap down. Well, welcome back to the lead lap for Ethan Smith, as the Lucky Dilla Award is kind of like the Lucky Dog Award. Whoever is given the award gets a free pass to go around and get one of their laps back, as long as they're not involved with the past incident and they are the furthest up ahead of the drivers that are a lap down. Congratulations to Ethan Smith, who gets back on the lead lap, and this 00 looked quick. Again, it's all because of an unfortunate missing out on a qualifying by just 200 feet. Didn't get to the line when qualifying ended. I think a big question for Ethan Smith for this evening, if this continues to spiral out of control, is the what if I had qualified better, how my race could have changed up.
That's for sure. The Concrete King definitely would like a concrete track to be a better opportunity for him, for sure. And the biggest thing too, I'm like looking at his racetrack right now, since he's got back on the lap, looks pretty clean. He did take a decent sized hit there, but it looks like the crew cleaned it up pretty nicely. Now, like we said, biggest thing he's got to fight is track position, and he's on the back foot of that. But definitely have seen him in the past be very strong at these style tracks. So Ethan, I'm sure after that strong performance in practice, will want to back it up with a strong performance in the race.
Also want to say thank you to the amazing sponsors of the ISRC Lariar Productions Truck Series, being the title sponsor of Lariar Productions. Go check out Lariar Productions on all social media sites, YouTube, Instagram. Go see great comedy and review content. It is a blast to watch. I love watching Larry reviewing some of the odd meals, drinks that fast food companies come out with, and seeing his thoughts on it. We also want to say thank you to Morecast, who's the major sponsor of the Morecast 5 Challenge. A couple of races throughout the season where drivers have the opportunity to win a little bit of extra cash. Also want to say thank you to the Armadillo Motorsports team, who sponsors the Lucky Dilla Award, of Gridless Graphics for being the white flag sponsor as well. Want to say thank you to you, the fans, for watching and supporting your family, friends that are drivers out on course. Green flag is back out on track for the Battle of the Bands 200 presented by Lariat Productions, and it is the inside row. Big shove by Trent Jump. He does not want to sit and linger. The 46 right on the back bumper of Alan Elwood as they exit at 2.
Breaking up that Elwood Designs trio is Trenton Jumping now right up in the mix here. Is also he's bringing along the 3 of Thomas Green, who remember is on fresher tires than the grouping that is around him. So we'll see if Green can utilize that. But he slides up the racetrack there a little bit with the 37 right on the door. Green gonna have to reformulate how to get around.
That contact off the exit of these corners is going to be a big thing to watch out for, especially off of 4. There's been a couple of moments of rushing the wall, almost getting into one another, but it is simply Green trying to utilize those tires. Same for the 15 on the outside. That's Vincent Sora, who's been willing to bump and move drivers forward. If he gets a big run, you better expect that front bumper to give contact, as he's now got to back off and resettle for another exit out of the corner. And oh boy, Miller goes around into the grasses, the 5. That's off the racing surface, so we stay green. But a big slide for Miller as he now has to get back on course safely.
That he will, and he's going to be dead last on the field now. So back to 27th for that 99 machine, and just shows you again, small little incidents happening here very much tonight, and that's just because the close racing and how tough it is. It's 3 wide here. Farther back, I believe that's Cody Reed right in the middle of this. He's going to want to stay out of this mix.
But Cody Reed has the freshest of tires. Watch out, contact being made, as that's Logan Brakey as well as Cody Reed off the exit of corner number 4. Reed's trying to push forward with this Hatsune Miku machine going forward. Also a combination of Lariat Productions and seeing that pink, teal, and white machine. Fresh rubber, and he has moved up quickly for himself up to 12th place, and he's the highest runner of those that pitted 14 laps ago. Can he make this outside lane work, or is he going to overcook those tires? And John Forbes, who's been involved with multiple incidences, he's now challenging for that 12th place.
That he is. John Forbes just never ceases to give up. This man can be in 15 wrecks, and somehow he'll be fighting for a top 5 at some point later in the race. Mark it down. So he is just that good, man. He almost seems like he's got 9 lives out there on the racetrack.
No doubt. Also in the chat, after that first incident was seen by John Force going around, it was Cedric Hunter who put in, help John just might win this race. And, you know, with the pace that we've seen John Force have at every racetrack we go to, I wouldn't be surprised by it, as Ollie Fonseca now giving the big push to the 11, and all the way getting into Noah Steele, drifting once again, giving space to the 11, and he holds on for another incredible save.
I mean, John is just going to ask, what am I doing tonight to make everyone run into me? Because, man, that is a tough break for him. Great save. And, man, he's got to reformulate and get right back past everybody. So this man has been beaten up and bruised tonight for sure, Sam.
And like we noted on those earlier cautions, I mean, it's not even the driver who's making the last contact. It's 2-3 drivers back that's giving the bump, that's initiating and kind of being the catalyst of these incidences that are blossoming. Great saves all around. Another save you can see back of that shot as the 45 Justin Smith got squirrely off the exit of the corner, and seeing the 11, 25, they're back to getting close to one another as the 18 of TJ Calloway trying to push forward for himself.
Everybody, I think, trying to put forward for themselves in this moment because they want to get out of this mix, and just shows you, I think, even the drivers who've stayed out on those old tires, they have really still held on pretty well. Thomas Green has made his way up to second, but Elwood still first, turning jump up there in the 3rd spot, and Richard Thompson holding on the 4th. But we'll see if it goes long. I think the issue will be, where do you make your pit stop for those drivers? Because I think the strategy is kind of up in the air right now.
It certainly is, because for the drivers that haven't pitted, if we had stayed green, the fuel window we were given was around 60 laps. You could push it that far. Some drivers weren't going to push it that far because of trying to split this race into a 2-stop. That would be lap 50, 100. So you could still pit around that window, but with the chance of a caution coming up, going long might be the better strategy to just wait on a caution, even if your tires aren't there. And if we stay clean and green, whose tires will be the better ones to watch out for? Because one driver of note, 6th place runner, Nick Crawford, he is, again, took 2 tires. This was a strategy call that he was interested to see how it was going to work out. Up to 6, he's moved up quite well. He's the highest runner of those that pitted 20 laps ago. And he is trying to run down our leader, running pretty similar lap times to Alan Elwood currently.
doing a great job, on those 2 tires. So it's worked well for him. We'll see. I mean, his truck looks like he can really get to the bottom. That's one thing I've noticed. He's able to paint the yellow line there, so to say, with that left front. And that allows you to get a little bit of clean air if that driver in front of you is not able to get as low as you. So that really can help you through that corner entry and exit phase. As you see, our high entry compared to the 37 cuts down the center to get out of the air. So great job here, just utilizing a better line, and now going to look to the inside and just showing those tires are working very, very well for him.
They certainly are. As Nick Crawford makes this pass, we'll keep our camera on here, but I do want to give a note to one of the fan favorites of Joshua Stovall. He pitted under a last caution. 42 is up to 12th and is running as one of our fastest drivers out on track. He looks quick, even with getting damage repairs. It's just a lot of drivers to get by before he can move forward, as he just makes the pass on Nico Garcia to move up into 11th position is Stovall. As we are finding ourselves 1/3 of the race in, looking through, we got a couple of big movers throughout this race. The biggest mover so far, back in 17th position, challenging with Samuel Garcia. That is TJ Calloway, currently our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race in our first 50 laps here tonight.
Great job by TJ to climb his way through, and hopefully he can continue to be in that position for the majority of the night. It's going to be tough, of course, with John Forbes there. Got to keep up that 11 machine if he wants to keep it, but definitely a great job so far throughout the night for the 18.
Trying their best to make these passes work is the 18 machine, as they'll follow in suit with Cody Reed, and was looking through on how some of these drivers can make some big passes. We do have note of some drivers that officially called it a night. We already noted on Ryan Ferraro calling it an evening. Justin Forbes as well has called it a night. We are left with 29 drivers out on track, with only a total of 27 on the lead lap. First driver 1 lap down, being multiple laps down, I should say. Cody Smith down 4 laps. As the field continues to race on, seeing some drivers fading quickly. Nico Garcia, Noah Steele, Zach, they haven't pitted yet. We're expecting probably these two are going to be the first hit pit road on a green flag run. But for Steele and Garcia, running 12th and 13th, they are just continuing to lose a lot of time. I would say pitting earlier, sooner than later, might be the call for the 78 and the 8.
Yeah, especially those two, because they've just kind of gotten swamped by the tires. That's the interesting thing that happens sometimes, is some of these drivers will hang on pretty well with the older tires just due to the track position gain that they have from being out here. But then you have the few that kind of get stuck in that middle phase, and they just kind of get used up. And it's kind of what's happened to the 78 and 8. They're running, right on pace with our leaders up front. It's just they've lost so much time to them due to those newer tires getting themselves in the middle of this fight and not able to hang on as well as the others.
CDA, Steele trying to rebound and push forward. A couple of other close battles happening on track. You see the cluster where we're going to see a caution. It might be around this group. It's Samuel Garcia, Tyler Dangler. Dangler bringing out a different scheme this evening, as we're seeing the 19 trying to rip the bottom behind them. There's almost going to be a stack 4 wide. They will go through, a stack 3 wide. It's Joshua Kanata, Ethan Smith, and Justin Smith. Going to be 3 wide for a quick moment, as Justin Smith rips the top, and that's an aggressive power move by the 45 to keep that position, as Ethan Smith and Kanata will continue to go back and forth for 21st and 22nd position. Kind of a shocker to see Kanata and Ethan Smith this far back, but the damage is showing it is hurting some of these drivers from even competing where maybe they felt like they should have been running here tonight.
It is tough, and then you get on the back foot of the track position game again. And you just got to be that much faster to be able to make passes. And sometimes you can be quicker than that driver ahead, but if you're not, a tenth quicker, it's not going to be easy to get it done. So you got to get what you can here early in the roads. That's why a lot of people push very hard, but now the tires are starting to get a little bit worn. Definitely starting to see a little bit of people struggle. But I'll tell you what also we're having is we've had great battles back here. Vincent Sora, he's climbed his way up to second. I think he's about to have an opportunity to fight the 4. The 3 of Thomas Green wasn't able to kind of formulate the way to get to the inside of this 4 here and get it done. I think this 15, though, he might have the speed to do it, because right now he's one of the fastest trucks on the track.
Where will Vincent Sora place this 15 machine? Because he was pushing and wooing the 3 forward and throughout the run to get to this top position. And now for Thomas Green, overusing those tires, really doesn't have the fight anymore. He'll linger in third, but Vincent Sora trying to figure out how to get by Alan Elwood. This is going to be his first attempt to the inside. Going to be side by side, almost dead even down into turn number 1. Sora sticking to that yellow line. Elwood trying to stay to the outside quarter panel, not able to do so. Sora will drift up, and that's the pass for the lead. Elwood, he'll give the push, the bump on the back stretch, not able to do the crossover move. As Sora now going to get clean air, and this is going to be the first time for the night. What does the 15 have in this spacing? Well, they got to be careful because behind them are 2 drivers that look quick and look to be some of the fastest on track. That's 4th place runner Nick Crawford and Jared Talmadge in 5th. They look fast, but they got some traffic to get by.
That's for sure. Yeah, Crawford, it was looking quick on those 2 tires, has done a great job, and he's going to run that high entry again and use the cut down through the center to get a great run to the inside of the 3 machine here. He's going to look to get into that top 3. And I would say watch out for Jared Talmadge. He's on 4 tires too compared to Crawford's 2 tires. So that's going to be, I think, an interesting situation. Then you got to look all the way back to around 10th is where Joshua Stovall will be. And he's on the next freshest set of tires. So it is definitely a 3-layered strategy right now.
It certainly is, as Danny Cochran trying to hold back this 42 from pushing forward, and will do so. As Danny Cochran going to give the push and the bump on the back stretch to help the 42 get back up to speed. So they can now go down into turn number 3, settle in, buckle in. There's a lot of racing still left here this evening. We're not even halfway, and here's another cluster of drivers that are going back and forth. It's Cody Reed once again in the thick of things, as he's got Nico Garcia around them, with going to be Joshua Kanata chipping it to the inside, to the yellow line. Garcia backs out. Cody Reed holds steady in the center. Throttles up maybe a little bit too soon. It's got to back out, and it's Kanata with the better run off the exit. That 16 looks strong here as this later run continues to grow.
It does. Yeah, Kanata is getting better and better as the laps click away, and that's when sometimes passing can get a little bit easier. When the people start to wear the tires, just hold Kanata into that outside wall. Now that's going to give the opportunity to 25 a Reed. I thought for opportunity was going to go to the outside to get the quarter panel, but elected to kind of just push the 16 and stay in line here, not fight his teammate.
Cannon Fire Racing teammates, I was about to eat my words and say I've got the commentator's curse. If we had seen those 2 drivers make contact, I think for Reed for a quick moment thought maybe I'll bounce into the outside, thinks better of it, and instead single file out between this grouping. As Logan Brakey runs in 14th position, he'll lead that train of drivers. We fall to Ollie Fonseca in the 24 as he's just in linger mode in 6th place. He's got behind him Trenton Jump, Isaac Shelley, as well as Richard Thomas. Just where do you want to go, really, is the question with Ollie Fonseca, with the way that he was running. I mean, he was caught up in an earlier wreck, found himself being spun around. This 24 runs in 6th place, looking very strong currently with that oddball different strategy of taking tires 35 laps ago.
It really does look strong. I mean, compared to the likes of Nick Crawford and Jared Talmadge, he is quicker than both of them. So 24 looking good on his long run pace. And Ollie's kind of continuing that trend. You know, we talked about it, like you said, during the points. He is making a big climb, and it's not out of the realm where he can still get it done to get in the top 12 if he has some great runs. So Fonseca, I think, needs to just put his head down and continue what he's doing. He is clearly on the right path.
Yeah, I mean, he's ahead of all the drivers that he needs to be ahead of currently, is Ollie Fonseca, as other battles are happening up front. The battle for second now underway with Jared Talmadge and Alan Elwood. As Talmadge goes to the inside, Elwood's just going to fall in line, and it just looks like it's a losing battle at this point. Not surprised. Elwood hasn't pitted. He's on 65 lap old tires. Even if he had, you know, with all the cautions we've had, the pace laps, those tires are toast. Fuel is getting close to the end. We're curious on when the Ford will make that decision to go to pit road, but you know, looking at Ollie Fonseca, he currently runs in points 17th. He's got Logan Brakey, Ryan Ferraro, Danny Cochran, Tyler Dangler, Samuel Garcia. Those are the drivers that are in between him and getting to 12th in points, and he's currently ahead of all those drivers, and some of them having very poor nights already out of this race. For Ryan Ferraro and Danny Cochran's the closest to him, and a couple of others really fading back. Ollie Fonseca, good performance here tonight. Could shoot him right to that cutoff line as Elwood now into pit road.
Elwood into pit road, and this is interesting timing for him too, because lap 66, this puts it in the scenario where it's not going to be one stop for him. He's not going to be able to have that opportunity to do it. My question is, who is going to try that from the other drivers? I really feel like if you pitted, the likes of, John Forbes, I believe Josh Stovall, if you pitted in that group, you could possibly make a one stop out of this.
Yeah, there is plenty of time. It's 60 laps that we were given the ratio. You go maybe a little bit further than that if you can fuel save and how you run this course. I know for some drivers, they're shifting down to third later in the run to keep good pace. Others might stay down in fourth gear for the whole entire run. And looking at where those drivers are at currently, they need to get to lap 90. Means they need to go another 20-ish laps. I mean, they could get to that window they're looking for if you've been fuel saving throughout this whole entire run while trying to go pushing forward. So it is in the realm of possibilities for some of these drivers to turn this race into one stop, while others are forced to a two stop.
That's for sure. I mean, I look at it right now. I mean, the likes of even Jarrett Talmadge and Nick Crawford, I think they possibly even have that same opportunity, because really looking at the difference for them, they're only about 17 laps difference between them and Vincent, so they're nearing the point where if Vincent can get within 17 laps of that number, lap 90, they can do it too.
It is very much wide open. Trent Jump now going to be entering pit road. Last of the drivers that need to pit that haven't so far here tonight, it's going to be Logan Brakey, who's ran 70 laps so far. Still out on course. No signs of pit road just yet, as he now just makes the call over the radio that he's going into pit road. And this will be those drivers that have yet to pit, concluding their pit cycle, and then it's the look around and see who can make it to lap 91, or maybe even on lap 90. That could be the window you're looking for, and if you can't stretch it that far, how far are you willing to stretch your fuel for that final pit stop? As Logan Brakey goes into pit road, seen a couple of other battles happening with Tyler Dengler and co behind. There's Alan Elwood. There's the speed difference of having 40 lap fresher tires than your competition around you. It is greatly different that we're seeing. But for us up the booth, as we're closing in on halfway, we're going to take a quick commercial break as we've got ourselves an incredible rest of this run. Who's got the better strategy? Can you make it to turn this race into one stop from here, or are you forced into a two stop? We'll find out. It's the Battle of Vans 200 presented by Lariat Productions. This has been a fun one at Nashville Super Speedway. We'll be back for more truck racing action right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and you've been watching the utter chaos of the battling going back and forth for 14th position. Isaac Shelley as well as Thomas going back and forth. Thomas is just trying to get by Ollie Fonseca, who runs in third, and they're going to be forced going 3 wide. Ollie Fonseca backs out smartly and lets the drivers that have already pitted now go back into fight mode against one another. But these drivers that we're seeing on screen, they're not in a safe position because they're in a spot where a lot of them still need to do one more pit stop. Pitted a little bit too soon. That was the math calculations we were making under our commercial break. We are happy to have you with us once again. My name is Sam Dyer. I've got Zach Hall with me with Robert Moyer Jr. Ray Productions in the background. You're watching the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series, race number 7 of season 8. And oh boy, hold on, Nick Crawford. Just seeing how slow these drivers that are up front, they are so up the pace, over a 40-lap difference in tires, and almost calamity for the driver running in second position. But tonight's race has been a lot of strategy, similar to last week at Atlanta. And Zach, I mean, there are some drivers that are forcing the issue on fuel. Others, they got a number they're looking for, and they're trying to hit it.
That we are. We're seeing them thinking, oh no! Whoa,
a
somehow.
Huge save into the walls
no.
to 37. It's not as safe for Richard Thomas. Thomas now going to be having to hold on the outside. Ollie Fonseca trying to get around in the 37. After being muscled and bullied, that group that we thought was going to bring out a wreck almost did. And it just, this has been the problem with the 37. He's had bad luck that's cost him good finishes.
Yeah, that was a tough break. I think the 2 was showing the nose, saying, I'm looking to the inside, I'm coming through. I think 37 said, I don't want you to go to the inside, so I'm going to close the door. And unfortunately, the 2 knocked the door open. Oh, it's the yellow flag is help.
It's Stovall. Stovall goes around, also with Michael Miller involved. Those 2 have had history, and it's Stovall who loses out. And this is right before the pit window is going to open for a one-stop. And this changes everything.
And John Forbes was squeezed right in the middle of all of it. I mean, if anything, we just watched 11 tonight. He's a magnet.
What in the world we're going to see here, just squeezing through the middle. And it's just John Forbes is there, and the other 2 weren't expecting it.
Yeah, I think Stowe. I don't know if Stowe, was getting the call. That was 3 there. Like, I don't know if that was the situation playing out. I believe
was
he
it
does
Miller
have
coming down?
I
think it might have been Miller coming down.
Yeah, it's just
forced down into Stovall.
It's just a weird situation there for sure. The Stowe was trying to cover off, the 11 getting the run to the outside there. The 11 gets to his quarter panel. And then the 5's coming down, or sorry, the 99's coming down as the 5 on screen. And yeah, this is just an awkward situation, and one that has changed the whole complexion of the race because these drivers were in position to make it on that one stop.
It's just a bizarre scenario that we've seen so many drivers back out of forcing these 3 wide situations happening in the corner. We're not racing for position. We're just trying to get through traffic quickly and efficiently. And right there, Michael Miller as well as Stovall getting the worst of it as John Forbes scoots his way forward and through the mess. And pit road was calling for everyone who's on the lead lap. A couple of drivers going to take the wave around to get themselves back on the lead position. It's going to hurt some, but this greatly rewards those that did not pit yet. As Jared Talmadge going to be the lead driver with Nick Crawford, Ollie Fonseca, John Forbes, and Joshua Kanata in 5th. I mean, it looks like it's almost being written on the wall, Zach, with all the mistakes, all the carnage, but surviving each incident. John Forbes is trying to call his shot to go into victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane how it's played out, man. I tell you, and the way it's shaped up here, I don't know if y'all noticed the laps. It's lap 88 right here. So we are on the edge of the window. So if anybody's thinking about that's farther back, that, hey, I want to go down there and top off and put some extra fuel in my car, this might be that situation that you want to do that because we are literally right on the edge of that number that we were given.
So it looks like it's going to be the 91 of Mark Morales taking that choice to top off with fuel. Wave around Vincent Zora as well as many of other drivers. As with so many drivers taking the wave around in Lucky Dogs, we do not know who had the Lucky Dilla award, but plenty of drivers are back on the lead lap that maybe wish they could have used the set. As as up front, Jared Talmadge, Nick Crawford, they get ready for this takeoff and go moment. And if we stay clean and green, it could come down to who's got the better fuel-saving strategy while being also the fastest. And we will find out and see how this run will go, as the three-time champ missed out on practice, missed out on qualifying, just made it for when the race started. John Ford has been caught up in so many wrecks and incidences. He'll be starting on the outside in row number 2. He'll also have behind him the 19 of Tyler Dangler. Dakota Moniz is in the mix. This is a new faces and names. How will they hold strong up front? Let's find out as Talmadge gets ready to take us back to Green Flag Racing. The Battle of the Bands 200, presented by Larry Art Productions, is back underway, and Talmadge is looking strong, but it's the outside row with the big push. It's going to be watching for Crawford and Forbes, as Forbes really pushing that 74 forward. Big slide, hold tight. It's going to be Nick Crawford with the big run.
Oh man, Forbes was pushing the 74 through his center of the corner. That in turn got him loose, and he holds on. So great job with the glow car going around.
Talmadge, Ollie Fonseca moves this 27 high. Talmadge falls backwards. They're going to be 3, 4 wide. Caution is out, and Talmadge gets spun around.
Oh, chaos is ensuing right here. And guess what? Fuel mileage no longer a concern.
Everyone that's already pitted is good, and I believe caution was already thrown for an earlier incident. All that carnage we saw, and that was actually going to be the 37 who spun, who brought out the yellow. The actual yellow was thrown for the 37 spinning, but it was all the carnage after the fact that we got to see on camera.
And it was in the 37. He took a little bit of a bump, I believe, it was Thomas Green in the 3, who might have actually took a bump from behind also too. So again, another kind of check-up situation and involving another yellow. But Richard Thomas goes around, but it was really Jared Talmadge the one that had the worst situation play out right there, from going from the lead all the way to the back.
How much time and ground did Talmadge lose? Well, from the lead to 23rd position. And the chaos just went down of drivers trying to hold position, and it's just going back and forth on who's going to have the better spot. Ollie Fonseca stays low, throttles up. Talmadge tried to block and defend, but the 24 was already there. And Talmadge gets spun around, but then they're just stacking up, trying to stay off the 27, and that's just an impossible situation where Talmadge gets spun around. Cody Smith also bounced into the grass as he had to go into the pits to get away from all that carnage, but big slide, big loss of position. See how Talmadge can recover as these laps tick away.
That was wild stuff. A few drivers had to take some off-road excursions there to miss out that out wreck. So definitely a wild situation. And like you said there with Ollie, I mean, he was there. So I mean, really nothing he could have done more. It was just kind of he got to the bottom, didn't come up off that bottom groove, and the 27 thought he could cover it off. But unfortunately, this racing game is a game of inches, and sometimes those inches will end up backfiring on you.
And a lot of our quote-unquote favorites that we look out for, they are nowhere in sight. Our top 8 drivers, this is a bizarre class to see. I think we looked at this maybe a couple of seasons back, maybe back around season 4 and 5, and we would say, this makes sense of the drivers that are up front. But the most recent seasons, these have not been the top drivers. But up front, it's Ollie Fonseca, Nick Crawford, Joshua Kanata, Tyler Dangler, Ethan Smith, TJ Calloway, the rookie, up to 6th position. Dakota Moniz, who was spun around earlier and caused probably one of our biggest wrecks of the night. He's inside of our top 10, running in 7th. And Danny Cochran, who's been slowly muscling his way forward, runs in 8th position. We also got Trent Jump, Isaac Shelley, that are in the mix just outside the top 10. That's where we find Vincent Sora, pole sitter of Noah Steele. We'll see how well they can move their way forward. And then Alan Elwood, who's been dominating this race, he's mired all the way back in 14th. I mean, Zach, this is going to be a long race for those drivers to march their way forward, but we've had 7 cautions. I got a feeling we might have a couple of more before the night's over.
Yeah, I mean, that's very well. If we don't get any cautions, they got the time with the green flag laps. It's going to be a very, very long run. So you got opportunity and the ability to get through the field. It's going to be tough, but like you said, we've seen the yellow flags, especially breed other ones. So we could very well have another little bit of a rash here.
Well, fuel is no longer an issue. It's about who can be in the top spot when that checkered flag waves. Let's find out with Ollie Fonseca, Nick Crawford, how well will the teammates work with one another up front as it's all cannon fire racing. 1, 2, 3, 4, take off and go as it's Fonseca and Crawford with a great launch for themselves. Kanata also in the mix to watch out for. It's the driver's fifth on back. They have to wait and see what big moves are they willing to take.
Everybody's been so risky in a big slide there for a few through the center. 1 and 2, they luckily keep it all together, but you can see people dipping left and right trying to find a way to the inside of the next truck ahead of them. But it's going to be mayhem throughout the field with a mixed bag of strategies, a mixed hand when it comes to the drivers up here. 3 wide again. Trenton Jump looking to the inside of the father Dakota Maniz and Isaac Shelley here right in the middle of the field.
As Trent Jump, he usually would back out earlier in the race. Now he's forcing the issue, putting Dakota Moniz in a position where he needs to back out, pushing forward. Jump cannot allow Vincent Sora or others fast drivers get by this 46. If he wants a chance to win, he needs to defend and push forward as that's all the battling going on from 8th on back. Up front, Ollie Fonseca and Joshua Kanata were going back and forth. They now have singled in line. And now it's Danny Cochran, TJ Calloway, 6th place position to the first that are side by side.
Everybody looking for any way around here. You got to find that track position because time is dwindling. They know it is go time if you want to win the race. And if you're Fonseca up front, Joshua Kanata, the likes of that grouping, if you go out here and win a race tonight, this could turn your whole season around.
Win a race or know that the fact that you've got 4 drivers that are in the top 4 that can control this race. You can pull drivers back by building a wall, and you can also be the drivers that pick the fastest one. Let them go forward. Don't race yourself too much. Protect your tires so you have something to defend with later on in this run, because you know the facts of watching Trent Jump, Thomas Green, Alan Elwood, Vincent Sora. They have already shown they can march through this field pretty quickly. They just need time to do so. So all these drivers know, make sure you've got rubber to be able to defend as much as you can. As seeing Isaac Shelley jump, squeezing and keeping it. Thomas Green to the outside. And a lot of space to keep these drivers where they would like, but this has been chaos on where you want to go to make these passes be made, because we're now in the zone where it's so tough to make even a single pass.
It is, Sam. It is so tough right here in this zone as the tires have gotten heat. Everybody's starting to find their grip, and 3 wide again with Trent Jump being the aggressor on the bottom. It seems like all night making it work, and he is going to try to fight his way through, but he gets squeezed up to 18 at the wall.
They keep it straight for now. John Ford spins it around. Caution is yet to be thrown. More drivers into one another. That's going to be Labertone. We're still green as Forbes slowly crawls his way forward.
Wow, what a night for John Forbes. I don't know what this guy could do different, Sam. He is literally been caught up in every little thing. He checks up for the incidents up ahead and just gets completely ran right in the back up by the 45 here. You're going to see as he sees that smoke. He can't really see much farther ahead. He sees the smoke and he checks up. And Justin Smith, probably not seeing that smoke, just runs right in the back of him. So just unfortunate timing.
It's one of those things where you react to one thing, others not able to react to it, and no caution is thrown. Forbes has to keep going, as even with how slow he was running, the yellow flag by iRacing deemed that there was not enough drivers sideways with oncoming traffic, and drivers were not slow enough with oncoming traffic to throw the yellow. So shocking to see drivers have now straightened out, single file. They are no longer seeing this race be in that chaos mode that we were seeing before, where it was 2, 3 drivers side by side with one another. Now it's single file, look for a mistake and try to pounce with it. That's where we see Thomas Green trying different lanes to find that extra pace.
They are, man. They are trying everything possible, because it seems like so many people got caught in that mix. It's kind of strung things out a little bit enough to where you can make things happen. But right now, Thomas Green on the go. He knows he has an opportunity possibly. This could be his second win sitting on the table. Can the 3 go up here and climb his way through the field?
Will we see a driver just shock the whole entire community? I mean, this is one of those races and racetracks we've seen in the past. I mean, it was all the way back in season 1, season 3, season 4. Those are the only times we ran here, but it's a track that can bring drama. It can give a chance if you put yourself in the right position for a great finish. And just like when we saw Ethan Smith, he kind of shocked the ISRC Truck Series that first season with the win that he grabbed. You see another shocker with Ollie Fonseca, Kanata, Crawford, or even Tyler Dangler get a win. This could be their ticket to make the chase, as some of those drivers were outside looking in entering tonight in points.
They really were. A lot of these guys looking on that outside looking in, Sam. And, if this goes green, Fonseca's got a good opportunity here. He's got the clean air first off. That is huge to have. But he has had good long run pace, had really, really strong long run pace. So don't put him past his 24. He has got an opportunity to get this done and get himself the hard way into those playoffs.
And the big thing for Ollie Fonseca, as well for Kanata, Crawford, is they're banking a lot of hopes on Tyler Dangler. The battle for fifth is where a lot of the hold back and trust moments are happening currently, because Tyler Dangler is fighting extremely strong to hold back this three machine. Thomas Green is quick, probably one of the fastest drivers inside of our top 5 currently, and he is just not finding a way to get around this 19, who is just being the perfect blocker for this Cannon Fire racing team.
He really is being, and Dangler has been on a generational run. Like, he has just been getting, I think, really the most out of himself this season, and it has been super impressive to see some of the speed he's had. And I think it's just an accumulation of over time, just everything, come together. He's had a lot of experience in this league, and it just seems like this season everything has come together for the 19. And on a good team, sometimes just being on a team with a good set of dudes and having a great vibe with them can make you have that much more fun and can equate to better runs.
That Cannon Fire racing team, certainly a good group of fast drivers. That's Cody Reed, Joshua Kanata, Nick Crawford, Ollie Fonseca, and Tyler's hanging out with. And a lot of good information out in the race during practice, and they are showing out on why they've got some good pace to hold back one of the strongest drivers and teams of the season. Planet Sim Racing has been the strongest team. If you look at the points, that's Thomas Green, Jared Talmadge, and Isaac Shelley. Those 3 drivers have been on their own tear throughout this season. And now it's going to be Thomas Green. He wants to try the outside, trying to get to the outside quarter panel, and this might be the better opportunity to go for the pass. The outside looks so much stronger when you go for a passing move, but it ruins these tires with each pass you make. And Green looking good for now. He needs to make this pass off of 4, though.
It really does. So we'll see if he can clear, and he will get it fully clear now. Set his sights on the next one of the group. It's going to be the 74 of Nick Crawford, and we'll see how this works. I mean, right here, this group, they're going to fight hard for Fonseca up front, and this group back here, they got to fight strong because they're seeing the time click away from them.
Is this the group that we could see the caution blossom from, as Cody Reed has been kind of hammered over the radio by a couple of drivers as they've been trying to say, hey, calm down, or it's going to be okay, because Reed has been showing some aggression on trying to set up passes, get by drivers. Noah Steele has shown moments of aggression trying to go for big passes. Nico Garcia, birthday boy, great qualifying run, qualified 4th, but this 78 has not looked good on the long run. He is going to fade. The question is, how much of an obstacle will he be for the rest of this group? And for Vincent Sora in the 15, we haven't really talked about him a lot here tonight, except for those few moments where he was up front catching up and got by Alan Elwood. But he's got so much traffic ahead of him. I don't even know if Vinny's got even a chance to get through this traffic unless he's got some chaos that tries to get in the way or cause a fiasco in front of him.
Yeah, I think it's a tough situation. I think the driver in this grouping to watch out for, if anything, is that 27 of Jared Talmadge. He's got a little bit fresher tires than anybody right now. Other than Thomas Green, his teammate up there, he's got some of the freshest tires up in that group. But still, I like the likes of the 27. He's been fast tonight on the long run. We'll see how he can get forward. But Cody Reed, like you said, who's been they're telling him to calm down. Well, he's doing a good job of just trying to make passes.
Passes, willing to see opportunities to go for the big moves, and it has been working out at times. I know talking with Cody Reed before this race, didn't get as much practice in I think that he would hope for. Got a little bit during our 1 hour before qualifying, and this 25, he has had some sneaky pace. I think if he had some time to put extra practice in, would have been fighting up front with those top 5, top 10 drivers currently just outside of the top 10, and right on the back bumper of Vincent Sora, who in a little bit of his own medicine, you could say. Vincent Sora in the first half of the race was giving bump drafts to the drivers after he could run off the exit. Cody Reed going to get a push to the 15 down into turn number 1, but it might have been overcorrection because he's got to get this huge run off the exit of the corner, and he does. The 25 now side by side into 3.
great job there to perfectly time that to not run in the back of the 15, but have enough momentum to cross back over to the inside here. And we'll see if he can get it done. I mean, much fresher tires here for Reed. Vincent Sora, actually, sorry, he's got really on the driver on the lead lap. He has got the oldest set of tires, so he is going to be feeling the pain of those tires. He wants to yell at some point to be able to put something fresh on, but at this point, it looks like he's kind of getting strung out. He could be in a world of pain if this goes right.
And looks to be trouble. Call it a night. Alan Elwood's day is over. The 4 is out of this race. He's just going to accept getting last in points. Michael Miller also is out of this race. He's officially called it a night. And that is 2 drivers out, and Alan Elwood has not seen a chance to win. He is out of this race as Cody Reed put the pressure to the inside of Jared Talmadge for 10th place.
Oh, and there goes the 27 around.
Right into Vincent Sora, up into the wall. There's the caution that some of these drivers needed. And went for the move. The move might have been too much. And Jared Talmadge just continues to see this great run snowball out of this thing.
And I think we're going to see again another huge bit of net code here. Now, Reed is going to bobble. He's going to touch the curbing here and get on the apron here. You're going to see a great look setup here. That's a great setup. Make the 27 defend. Now you have his door open to the inside. 25 goes low here. Look, he's just going to clip this yellow curbing here, get a little bit on the left front, and that's going to get him loose. But you can see there, no contact.
No
it
contact.
Was just net code. So a bobble from the 25, but nothing more. It was no contact, and just unfortunately, Jared Talmadge once again tonight spinning up the racetrack.
It's got to be frustrating in the cockpit, not realizing what happened there. Replay, though, it's going to be even more frustrating for the 27, knowing that it was a clean pass, and he just had nowhere to go. Vincent Sora, big save for himself, and Noah Steele as well as Nico Garcia getting a piece of this one. Caution is out, and now it's the hard decision. Pit road is calling for a lot of these drivers. Some have already used quite a few tire sets. Others, they've got a few to work with, and pit road for everyone. It is 4 tires and fuel for majority of the field. The question is, who's willing to take 2 tires at this time? We saw it be successful for Nick Crawford. Who's willing to take this gamble now?
That is going to be the huge question for sure, Sam. I think you're going to see some people do it. They're definitely going to be willing to risk it, it seems like. And it's just going to be a question of who will try it here. Maybe Nick Crawford, since he knows.
It's the Concrete King. Ethan Smith did it. He took 2 tires, and the 00 is in the top position.
I believe Martin Morales, he's going to follow him in for 2 tires also. So top 2 are the only 2 to do it. So 2 tires to the top 2.
Top 2 for themselves. Actually, Martin Morales, gutsier call. Fuel only for the 91. Did not even take 2 tires. This is going to be a rough one to watch on how well he can stay up front. Ethan Smith. I love this call by the 00. This was the call that got him into a position to win this race back in season 1 that started his reign of just dominating concrete courses. And he's going to try once again to get back into victory lane, and this could reset Ethan Smith's whole entire season for himself. He needs a perfect performance to finish out this race and get a win to make a chance for the chase.
That's for sure. This is going to be gutsy time. And the Morales call, you know, for only fuel, I think the reason for that, 9 pit stops made tonight for Martin. I don't know if there's a set of tires left over that wall there for Goodyear. So I think Morales was kind of, his bed was made, so to say, and now he's going to have to lay it in. And those tires are going to be somewhat decently old. So we'll see how the 91 can fire off here. This could be very critical for how you get around him. I look at Fonseca, who was leading this race. He's got to make sure to get around that 91.
Looking at some of these other drivers, we got Martin Morales. He's going to be on the inside. This could be hurting the 24 of Ali Fonseca, Joshua Kanata, Danny Cochran. The outside, though, that's where you're really going to see a lot of strength. You got Ethan Smith, that 2-tire call. We saw it succeed for Nick Crawford, but then you got Crawford right behind him. Thomas Green, who we know is going to be probably one of the biggest threats of those that are inside of our top 6. It's Adler Dangler, Danny Cochran to be your road number 4. And then it's Isaac Shelley, Trent Jump, finishing out our top 10. Who has the better run? Who has the better call? It's time to see as we're running down to 30 laps to go. This race is still wide open on who's got a chance to win. But that driver on the outside, the 00, he's got a good chance, needs a good launch, and we are green. Once again, he's already clear, and Ali Fonseca trying to make it 3 wide down into turn number 1, putting Morales in a tough position. They will be 3 wide for second, and there's Morales just trying to hold steady. He bounces the outside, and it's Ethan Smith take off and go mode.
Everybody's gonna be looking to some way to get out from behind this 91 here, going down the back straightaway. You're gonna see it fan out here as they enter into the corner.
When they fan out, they survive for now. But that 00 does not look as strong as you would hope for. Morales stays high. They're going to be squeezing off the exit 4 into the walls of the 91. Everyone else able to scatter even with the tight squeeze as they get through. It's Nico Garcia and a couple of others. But the battle for the lead is about to be underway. It's Smith, it's Crawford, and Crawford did his plan and strategy fall into his lap once again. Similar to what happened back in season 4. Just found himself in the right strategy call late to just lead a measly 150 laps back in season 4. Right now, he's got the best chance. Outside quarter panel, this is the better passing lane for these drivers if they're moving forward.
That it is. This is where you want to be. He positioned himself well there, knowing that that was going to be the opportunity available to him. And you'll see here off the exit of 2, Smith not able to clear, and that was critical. Now it's going to give Crawford the chance to be a nose ahead here in ring 3.
Update on Morales, he's fallen out to 20th position from second all the way back to outside of the top 20. Nick Crawford, though, a little bit too wide, had to back out, but he keeps his foot in the throttle and able to lead that last lap, almost fully clear into turn number 1. Ali Fonseca trying to hold back this 3 machine as well as he can back in 3rd. Crawford, if he can get the good launch he does, he's clear. It's take off and go for the 74. Now, can Thomas Green find the big passes that are needed with 30 laps to go, about to be 29? Green needs to make every pass clean and quick as he finally gets by Fonseca.
Huge opportunity here for Crawford now as he got by those tires. Can he open up a gap to Thomas Green, the next truck on 4 tires? That's going to be the opportunity for him, because also this run still can be longer. You got to manage these tires. You can't just go out here and overheat them, because you will start to struggle those last 15 laps of this run. So we'll see who can manage them well, but you know they're all pushing everything they got.
You know you want to be up front. Clean air is so important to have, and if you're Nick Crawford, this is a position that you've been waiting for. Be in a spot where you tackle and go. But you can look back for all the drivers that are 10th on back. This is that chaos position. This is 8th position of Trent Jump. He's got Cody Reed, Tyler Dangler. Dangler is still just trying his best to stay inside of a top 10 position as he was defending so well over Thomas Green, but now with everyone around him, the 19 kind of struggling, but he's trying to hold back Cody Reed as well as Vincent Sora, and Sora is the dangerous one. If the 15 gets by, that's when everyone else is in danger.
That is for sure. You don't want to see that 15 get up there in the mix. They know how quick he can be, but everything was going wild up front. Ethan Smith, he had the likes of Thomas Green look to the inside. He really covered it off, and that allowed the 24 to take advantage of it. He gets to the outside of the 3. So now these two fighting for any chance to get around him, while Nick Crawford is about a second ahead of this group. Crawford is loving what he's seeing in his mirror right now, Sam.
He is just in a go takeoff, and right now, as I said before, up to over a second of a gap. Smith nowhere to really go except for block high as Thomas Green is trying to get by Ali Fonseca for the second time in this run. Danny Cochran getting back in the mix. Also see Joshua Kanata. Other drivers of note, Trent Jump, Isaac Shelley. Where will they go if they've got an opportunity to go for a pass? And it looks like for most of them, it's just staying in line. No one's really trying a different lane to get a good run off the exit of the corner or go for an aggressive push off in the entry. As these drivers continue to go back and forth, a little bit of a trouble there for Danny Cochran. Gives a chance for the 16 of Joshua Kanata to the inside to get by the 2. As these laps continue to tick away, 25 laps to go. Zach, this is all Crawford, but they are starting to get a little bit more mixy. Really, it's the tension of you need to make these passes now. That frustration, the build-up. We're going to see some tempers flare very shortly, especially around that 8th, 9th, and 10th position.
That's for sure. Push is going to come to shove, as they would say. So you're going to start seeing people get a lot more desperate, and I'm already seeing that with people taking a lot more risk and opportunity, and I actually feel like it's hurting them because they're driving it deeper in the center, and it's hurting their exits, so they're trying to clear a little too fast, so to say. Sometimes you get impatient when you're side by side with somebody and just not drive the corner right. So right now, if Fonseca can clear, he does do it. He does get it fully clear, and that's going to be great for him. Now, he'll have that 0-0, try to look to the inside, but that is completely fine. Go to my inside, block that outside.
He blocks it, forces Ethan Smith down to the apron. Smith forcing it down, aggressively pushing, not holding that yellow line, pushing high, over a half a groove, too high, and Fonseca takes that reward. Ethan Smith now in trouble because he'll have Thomas Green to the outside. Danny Cochran now getting into the mix to try to push forward. And as all this battling goes on, the gap has ballooned out to 1.7 seconds. Ollie Fonseca, he's seeing this opportunity to get another great run to transform his season from how it started to where it is now. These final 3 races were so critical for the 24 to try to make a chase push, and he is doing perfectly at this moment. Danny Cochran entered this season, thought he was going to be a part-time driver. I mean, with this run that he's having, this could put him in a position to race for a chance to get in the chase and hunt for that second championship.
It very well could. This is huge for the 2 machine because guess what? No stage points here in this league. So guess what? It's all about the finishes of the race. He's had somewhat of a decent up and down race, but it's going to be looking like it's going to end in a good note here for him finally, and that could lead to, like you said, Sam, finding his way back to that top 12, as so many drivers want to do. Fonseca's also trying the same, but here comes Kanata. He looks to the outside of the 0-0, Ethan Smith, who's just trying his best to hold on to those 2 tires, and it's been a valiant effort from him.
It honestly has been, but like you noted on before, this was a long run that these drivers got to fight for, and some were pushing too aggressively, too early on, and Ethan Smith might have been one of those that just saw an opportunity. He also is one of the only drivers who took a 2-tire call. He wanted to get a looser vehicle, and it's backfired on the fact of how much heat buildup that he's collected. Their grip level has just faded away for the 0-0, and he is struggling on the inside to get down to that yellow line on entry, and he is almost using other drivers to get through the corner. But looking at other drivers that are inside of the top 10, talking about Danny Cochran, talking about Joshua Kanata, both looking for their first top 5 finish of the season. It is right in their grasp if this race stays green.
That it really does look to be right in that grasp for sure, Sam. This has been a night of drivers having some excellent runs that are well needed for a few. So this is excellent timing, and you're seeing Reed here, who's continued to be right around that top 10 area. So Reed is trying to find his way marching up, and I think the best thing for him is next on his list is Ethan Smith, who has been falling backwards. So could possibly find another spot, but we know he's got that 15 behind him who tends to be strong in the long run. So could be looking in his mirror a lot here in these last few laps.
18 laps to go, and a couple of more drivers entering pit road to get service done for their vehicle. Just a little bit too much damage, or just calling it a night early, as it's going to be Malik Coots in the 77 who makes this stop. Cody Reed, he enters tonight 19th in points. He had a major jump up 3 positions in points after last week's running at Atlanta. Even with being caught up with so many wrecks here tonight, he's been caught up in a few, and that might be the combination that he needs to have a good run. Well, this 25 has just been the thorn in the heel of Vincent Sora, and he just cannot find a way. Vinny is just trapped behind this 25 machine.
It's tough, when you get behind someone who is quick enough that Cody is. Cody's a very, very quick driver, and Cody's also not going to give up here. He knows what he's fighting for, too. Vincent's got 2 wins. He's already got locked in. He needs to fight him because he cannot give up just easy points to someone that, doesn't necessarily need him. So we'll see how hard he races him here, but he's also, I think, got to focus on trying to get somewhere around this 0-0, then maybe have a gap behind him to fall into. But right now, the 15, he looks just super strong on that bottom side, and I think his passing might be inevitable.
As Vincent Sora getting the better opportunity with Ethan Smith kind of fading on the outside, it's holding back Cody Reed. Now I'm looking at some of these times, Zach. That gap for Nick Crawford was up to 1.7 seconds. It is fallen to 1.4. And Ollie Fonseca, Danny Cochran, they have been running just slightly faster than Nick Crawford, ever so little bit, but Ali Fonseca is being held up. There's some lap traffic that's in the way, that's holding these drivers back. That's what's allowing this chance for the 24 to attack and go forward, as Eric Stamp now going to be in the way of the 24 machine. He'll go high, give space for Fonseca to push this way forward with clean air. Fonseca has been the faster driver to run down Nick Crawford, but the big thing with lap traffic, we'll see how this 27 is able to filter his way through, with everyone knowing we're in the final stages of tonight's race.
Fonseca has been the better driver on the long run, so I'm not surprised to see this gap shrinking down. I also saw Crawford, he was pushing so hard to get that lead. So it could very well come down to the fact that, you know, Fonseca can catch him here. But again, catching him is one thing, passing's another. As you see right now, passing could be difficult. So is Jared Thomas way up the racetrack for himself. So he's sliding back as, man, this is going to be a little bit chaotic back here. We could very well see another yellow flag pop up before the end of this thing.
And again, Jared Tolman just one lap down. He just went a lap down. He has been off the pace with the damage that he's collected throughout this run. Also, the 53 of Eric Stamps, another driver that's going a lap down. He's currently 11 laps down and is trying to filter his way backwards. Looking at Vincent Sora in the 15. Again, looked like he was being held back by the 25, but the pace I'm seeing right now with Vincent Sora going through the field, he's been running faster than Nick Crawford, faster than Ali Fonseca. The issue, he's almost 3.5 seconds back from the leader, so there's just too much time to be made up. With 12 laps to go, this 15 needs a caution to be thrown to get back into the mix. It's down to our top two on who really has the pace to win this race.
Like you said, I think it's down to the top two. Vincent Sora, he's got the pace for sure, you know, best of anybody on this long run. I just think third is the most this 15 will possibly be able to do, and even that's going to be tough with 11 laps to march past all of these drivers ahead of him.
Trouble on the front stretch is Joshua Stovall, John Forbes making contact once again, and it's Stovall losing a lot of time. He went through the grass, now down to 20th position. We stay green with 11 laps to go.
I mean, John Forbes can't catch a break. I mean, you know, I went back and looked at it there. I mean, really nothing Forbes could have done there with the contact between those two. I mean, he was in the fence, and the 42 was still coming up into him. So, you know, Stovall having a tough end to his night here, and same for John Forbes.
They will continue to race on as John Forbes trying to gain as many positions as he can here late. Here's the challenge in the battle going on for 12th position. Tyler Dangler as well as Noah Steele, our pole sitter of Steele. It just hasn't gone the way that he would hope, as Tyler Dangler with a big slap to the outside wall continues to go forward, but that rear end damage after hitting the wall might be something to worry about in these final few laps that are ticking away. And as these laps tick away, Zach Same does that lead gap. It's down to less than a second. It's 1.7 seconds now between Ali Fonseca and Nick Crawford. This 24 is finding the speed late, but like you said before, it's easier to catch than it is to pass.
That's for sure, but I tell you one thing, he's about a 10th and a half faster. And in my opinion, Crawford, unless he can just start gathering up and start making sure he gets to that bottom, because that's what we're watching, he struggles to get that truck to turn into that bottom group and get it to stick there. Unless he can start making that happen, I think it might be an easier pass for Fonseca here, because he's going to have clean air on that nose if you give up that bottom lane to him. So you cannot do that. And Fonseca, he's charging right now. It was much closer in lap time that time by there, Sam, but still, he's just about a 10th to a 10th and a half quicker each lap.
Nick Crawford trying to get his first win of the season. Ali Fonseca trying to get his first win, and it feels like forever. This 24 has been searching for speed, searching for the recovery run, and with 7, soon to be 6 laps to go, Ali Fonseca needs this race to stay green. With the pace I'm seeing right now, he is still in a fighting chance to take this position away and go for this win. It is down to these top 2 drivers, unless it's just a catastrophic failure that happens for the both of them. It's Nick Crawford, it's Ali Fonseca, it's the teammates from Cannon Fire Racing that have to go back and forth between one another. But if we're gonna have a caution, it might happen between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, because Vincent Sora has caught up to those drivers that are battling for 3rd.
That he has. He's got right in the mix of this battle here as Cochran's trying to hold on to 3rd place for himself and get himself a podium finish this season. And, you know, Joshua Kanata here putting the pressure on him because he also wants to finish top 3. So all of them really want this 3rd position. I know how it can be as a driver. That sometimes can feel like a little bit of a mini win when you go out there and get that podium.
Trying to go for everything right now. Here's going to be Josh Kanata trying to turn this race into a 1-2-3 finish for Cannon Fire Racing, but he's pushing up. He's sliding through the corner. The grip levels just aren't there here late. 5 now going to be making it 4 laps to go. Kanata looking strong. His nose is ahead, but watch out behind. Vincent Sora is closing in quickly as the 16 just not able to fully clear yet, as it's going to be Danny Cochran looking for the better run off the exit turn 2.
Cochran in the preferred position to be on the outside, but the 16 did a good job to get a good exit on the bottom lane there. We'll see here down to 3 and 4 what he can do. A little high up the track on entry, but can he turn that truck down the corner? Yeah, he was able to do it, but can the exit speed be there is the question. As we're coming by this time, 3 laps to go. It's also 0.3 of a second for our leaders up front, and it's a half of a tenth this time by for Ali Fonseca. He is still finding a little bit of time, but the closer he gets, the more it dwindles. And you can see that was the first time I feel like he's really dealt with the dirty air. That truck really washed out on the exit.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking for that throttle input to just take off and go. It just wasn't there. Still faster that last lap by 110. Closing in ever so slightly, but we are now in the critical moments. Hit your marks. Have a perfect final 2 laps, and Ali Fonseca, victory could be calling your name. Or will it be the driver who's hoisting Creed, trying to find victory? Crawford looks good. Fonseca just within 0.2, but he loses ground off the exit. Zach is just not looking strong for all here late.
He needs the exit speeds, and he's just not being able to exit. See, he gains on the entry, Sam, but Nick Crawford doing the veteran job. Back up that entry, back up the middle. Make sure you get the good exit, and Fonseca in the wall.
Fonseca threw it all out there, but it wasn't enough. It's your gridless graphics white flag in hand as Nick Crawford pulls away. Now for Ali Fonseca, his mindset is on protecting second, as that little bit of damage is gonna hurt him and wound him just slightly. But Nick Crawford, you looked at the standings, he was the only driver inside of the top 6 without a win in points. Well, look to the flex stand and say it's yours. You are now a winner in season 8. Nick Crawford is back on top.
Crawford gets it done, and it's a 1-2-3 for Cannon Fire Racing, man. What a job by that group.
It was a group effort to get them in this position. They took the strategy calls last week. They all took the strategy Nick Crawford went with, and it was complete dismal, awful. It was the worst strategy you could go for the evening. 1 week later, they follow in suit. They follow as a group, and they succeed as one. 1, 2, 3, Cannon Fire Racing. Welcome to victory lane. Crawford is going to enjoy this one, but as a team and as a whole, this is such a successful story for themselves. And Nick Crawford, he was running a band theme. That means you are going to be earning $40 after tonight's win. Congratulations to Nick Crawford. As when we come back, we've got the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 3 in a spotlight driver, as it was a good one here tonight. We'll be back right after this, talking to Nick Crawford, Ali Fonseca, Joshua Kanata, and we'll find out who the other one is right after this. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISRC Larry R Productions Truck Series. Race 7 of Season 8 is in the books. It's the Battle of the Bands 200, presented by Larry R Productions. We have been given word your winner of the Larry R Productions scheme winner goes to the 50 machine, Samuel Garcia. Congratulations to Samuel Garcia. We were just given an update on how the ruling was going to work. Garcia needed to be the driver that won. It was based off of who Larry picked as that driver. They needed to win to earn the $40. Sorry, Nick, you didn't get it for yourself. But instead, we'll just go to victory lane. I think he's still going to enjoy the victory instead here this evening as we pull him into the booth. It's the 74 machine, the Creed machine, getting it done. Nick, I mean, I talked to you before this race. It didn't sound like you were the most confident for this one. But how are you feeling now after being the winner of the Battle of the Bands 200?
With arms wide open, under the sunlight, welcome to the... I'm feeling good, Sam. I told my wife I would sing a little bit of that. But I am stressed because if Ollie and Ethan didn't battle for that long, Ollie had it won. He had a lot of long run speed, and you can see he was catching me there. And I think the only reason he didn't get there was dirty air, but it's nice to win one.
I mean, it was incredible to watch the team dynamic. 1, 2, 3 for Cannon Fire Racing. How was it throughout the later stages of this race when we saw that it was the three of you guys affiliated? Tyler was up there with you. What was it like trying to control this race later on when everyone was on the same set of tires?
It was really just about managing tires. I don't know if we were trying to prevent people from passing. Tyler was, it seemed like he was blocking. I don't know if he was or not, but that really helped us out, save a little bit. And then just at the end, Ethan chose to start on the outside line, which gave me the jump and then the run off the corner. So that's how it worked out for me. But yeah, it's nice for our team to get a little rebound. Cody was off doing his own thing, but he still finished 11th, almost top 10. So it was a pretty good night for the team.
I mean, in his own way, he was holding people back as well. But Nick, I mean, this race was incredible to watch. Your first win of the season. How does that make you feel knowing you got 2 more races left in the regular season before the chase?
I got to get a little bit better at doing it. I got to get better at the races that don't have as much chaos. Tonight we had a lot, especially early on. And for once, I shouldn't say once, but this season we got the strategy right here. I let the guys kind of decide what we were doing tonight, and it was probably better that way. But yeah, I got to get better at the long green flag races because those are where I struggle the most.
Well, it was awesome to watch you climb your way through tonight's race and being the control vehicle there late, how well you did it. Nick, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
I always have to shout out my beautiful wife. She's watching right now. She's amazing. Shout out to my teammates. They're really fun to race with, especially when they're having a good time. Shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast. Make sure you look into Larry Art Productions on YouTube and also Lo-Fi Latte for your musical taste there. And then shout out to Larry again for sponsoring this race and letting us do a bunch of paint schemes.
Well, it was awesome. Looking at the history books here, Nick, this is your 13th win, and you are now solidified as the 4th all-time winner in the wins list column. Congratulations on that. Enjoy this win, and good luck next week as we head to Auto Club.
With arms wide open.
That will be Nick Crawford, your winner here tonight, and that's 74 Creed Machine. Enjoy this, Nick, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
As that's your winner here tonight. We'll get to talk to his teammate who had such a strong run. You thought sweet victory was in hand, but not the case there late. We got Ollie Fonseca with us. Ollie, a sweet scheme. I know it wasn't the victory, but what a run for yourself. How are you feeling coming away second here tonight?
Pretty good. I mean, definitely good for the points. Just sucks, man. I really thought I had that one won, and I really thought, if I just had a few more laps, I might have been able to get them, but just wasn't meant to be. It's probably a good thing, because if I had won that thing, I told everyone I was going to sing Sweet Victory in here, which I know you guys probably wouldn't have loved to hear. So, all in all, just, good night. Glad that, I was once again able to prove to myself that, I've got winning speed, so it's nice to be on a roll like this.
mean, Ollie, we saw tonight, it was difficult for a lot of drivers to stay out of trouble from being in contact with one another, being pushed around on entries of corners. What was it like for you trying to just survive in the middle of this race with all the contact that was happening?
Yeah, I forget if it was the third or fourth caution, but I came down and they wrecked right in front of me, and I spun out, didn't hit anything, but you know, it was nice to get that yellow, so I had time to cool the tires off. And then, I mean, the mission was simple: just drive up through the field. I mean, I got the freshest tires, so I need to take advantage of it. And you know, I'm sure I ruffled a few feathers on the way, but you know, I did what I had to do, and you know, luckily it paid off for once. So you know, it's just what you got to do when you're put in that position. So I do feel bad for some of the guys I had contact with, but you know, it's just part of it, man.
Well, Ollie, we still have 2 more races left. Based on the pace that we're seeing right now, you still have pace to get into victory lane. What's your confidence heading towards these last 2 races before the chase, going to Auto Club in Las Vegas? Where do you feel like your best opportunities are to get the good run to continue on getting these points?
Shoot, really, either one, honestly. I like those tracks more than I like this one. Nashville has never really been one of my favorite tracks, but I got to give a lot of credit to my teammate Nick Crawford. He taught me a couple things throughout the week that I think really helped. I definitely wouldn't have been able to make up all that time on him if it wasn't for him giving me a little bit of pointers. So I really appreciate him for helping me out as a teammate. So you know, I'd say the confidence is definitely where it needs to be, just because you know, I've proven myself that I can run good at a track I don't like. So you know, Auto Club in Vegas, I expect to run decent.
I cannot wait to see how you perform there as we get ready for next week. Before we call it a night, I should say, we want to hand the floor over to you, Ollie, for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, first and foremost, I gotta thank my crew chief, Brandon. I forgot to shout him out the last time I was in here with you guys. It sucks that he wasn't able to be here tonight for me to be in here again, but he's the greatest crew chief I could ever ask for, so I really appreciate him. He does a phenomenal job spotting for me. So Brandon, that one's for you. Just gotta thank my mom and my grandparents, my stepdad, everyone, my friends that watches, you know, these races. I appreciate them. Thanks Larry for being the best sponsor there is. Thank my teammates here at Cannon Fire. Podium for us, that's pretty cool, man. So it seems like things are really starting to mesh and come together for us as a team. So I'm really proud about that. And just you guys for putting the broadcast on. Thanks for putting it on and letting us all watch.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show to call. That will be second place finisher in the 24 SpongeBob machine. Sweet victory for the 24 of Ollie Fonseca. Still a fantastic finish, Ollie. Great points. And good luck next week as we head to Auto Club.
Thank you, guys.
As we move from second place, we go down to third, to talk to the third driver from Cannon Fire Racing. A 1, 2, 3 for themselves, and coming away third is Joshua Kanata in the 16 in the Pink Floyd machine. Josh, I mean, at moments we were saying late run, you look like one of the stronger drivers to watch out for. It looked like there you had a little bit more chaos to hold back. How are you feeling, though, coming away third here tonight?
Glad we got through it. Definitely looking a little touchy there in the beginning. Trying to save as much as I could. Once that long green flag run happened, we were thinking we were going to be good on pit strategy if it stayed green, but we had that caution mid-cycle, and it was like, all right, I guess we got to do what we got to do. We lined us up in the top 3 for, I think, the second to last restart, and we were just hoping we could hold station from there. Had to battle it out there at the end, but I mean, I'm feeling great. I know all the team is feeling great, and it's about time we got a good result.
I mean, Josh, talking about saving and holding on, we saw a lot of drivers have to make some big saves. A lot of contact was happening in the middle of this race. What was it like from you and your point of view, trying to avoid some of the carnage that was happening throughout this race?
Yeah, it was definitely a little stressful. I know we had that big one down the backstretch that spooked a lot of us. A lot of guys maybe getting like half spun in, turn 1, turn 3. Try not to hit people just trying to pass them. You clip the apron just that little bit, it's going to shoot you halfway up the track, and you just got to hope the guy beneath you, is able to hold on to it best he can. But it was definitely a tricky one, a lot trickier than we thought it was going to be. But, I mean, it was a blast overall. I'm pretty happy with how it went.
It was a blast for us to watch. I know we got 2 more races left here in the regular season, with it being only 9 races. We have Auto Club, Las Vegas being the final 2. What's the confidence level trying to carry this momentum into these final 2 races before the chase?
I'm confident that we can carry it well enough to get into the chase. We'll see if we can run out front maybe a little bit at Auto Club, which has been a good track for me in the past. I mean, only time will tell. This season's been all over the place for us, but Vegas is another one I'm usually decent at. If I can just manage a couple of top 10 finishes, we'll lock ourselves in and just try to carry that momentum best we can. But I think we'll be able to pull that off.
Cannot wait to see how you perform there. But Josh, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yep. First off, like always, thank you guys for putting this on, and thanks for the guys that run this league. It's always a ton of fun. Everyone who's watching, can't do it without you. I know I got a couple of friends and my girlfriend's watching as well, so thank you for staying up, everybody, and we got through it. So looking forward to hopefully talking to you guys next week.
Cannot wait for it. That will be your 3rd place finisher of Joshua Kanata, going to be coming away 3rd for the 16 machine. Josh, congratulations on this finish, and good luck next week at Auto Club.
Thank you, guys.
As we move from our top 3, we've got our spotlight driver who also will be coming away 10th. His first top 10 of the season, and as well going to be our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race. It's Ethan Smith in the 00, king of the concrete, and at one moment thought he was going to be the biggest threat to watch out for the win. We got Ethan with us. Ethan, congratulations on a top 10 finish. You got to be up front for a little bit there. I know you went for the risky gamble call, the only driver to go with 2 tires with over 30 laps to go in this race. How are you feeling after the performance and run that you had here late?
I started 30th. I'll take it. I know there's only a few races left. I haven't really survived a lot of these races, unfortunately. So I knew I needed something. I'm really looking forward to Auto Club. I was feeling all right through the first half of the race, and then as the race went on, I developed a fever. So for me, this is my flu race, and considering I got 10th, made it through, especially starting 30th, I'll take it.
That's not bad at all. I know qualifying, you just missed out on getting your time placed in. How was that trying to go through traffic, and how much do you feel like that helped you later on in this race to deal with some of that dirty air?
It definitely helped, especially when it came to 2 tires. Everyone was able to kind of get the run off of the corner better than me. I just had to get the right angle on the exit for those last 30 laps or so. Being in the back, it's really hard to pass here, especially when you're behind 29 other drivers. So originally I was just trying to play it safe, not do anything too aggressive. And then I ended up getting caught up in one accident, got most of everything repaired, fortunately. And I actually had enough fuel to make it a 1-stop at the end. And I was really hoping it was going to stay green. But unfortunately there were some cautions, and all in all it still worked out. I'm just happy that I was able to finish this race.
Hey, we're happy to see you have a good finish as well. We've seen you're blossoming back into your old speed that you had back in the day. Like I said, you got Auto Club coming up and Las Vegas, the final 2 races before the chase. I know you're going as one of the extreme underdogs to try to point your way in. It's looking closer and closer that you're going to have to must win your way in. What's the confidence with these final 2 races, knowing that that might be the way that you have to make the chase?
As long as I can get a half-decent qualifying lap, which at Auto Club, that's probably my most confident track this season. Every time I race there, for the most part, I'm pretty confident. I'm usually towards the front. I've practiced a lot there. I think that's my 2nd most raced track. So I'm really excited to have that come up on the schedule, especially in the situation I'm in, because I really could use a win, or at least a couple top 5s. But I think I need to have 1 win to secure my way into the playoffs.
Well, Ethan, it was an incredible run. It was exciting to see you up front. We always love to see you there. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Friends, family watching, I want to thank them. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Danny Cochran for the scheme. And all these guys out here in the admin for putting it along.
Well, that'll be your 00 machine of Ethan Smith. His first top 10 of the season. We'll see how this momentum carries him forward. Ethan, congratulations on 10th and being our Whiplash SimCam's biggest mover of the race. Enjoy this one and good luck next week at Auto Club. As we move on from our interviews, we get ourselves prepared to take a look at our unofficial results for this evening. A lot of ups and downs, some wrecks coming up at certain moments throughout this race, and it was quite crazy to see the factor of a lot of wrecks, but not a lot of drivers being knocked out at the pace and the contact and how much space there was on track. A lot of drivers able to avoid the wall and avoid one another, but taking the win is first for Season 8 and now solidified as the 4th all-time winner in the all-time winners list on the ISRC Truck Series. Nick Crawford grabbing his 13th career win coming here at Nashville Superspeedway, and he was the winner last time we were here. This 74 looks extremely quick to carry on his momentum of that season. Second goes to Ali Fonseca with one of his best finishes of the season. Same for Joshua Kanata, who comes third. That's a 1-2-3 for those Cannon Fire Racing drivers. Then Vincent Sora, after finally getting clear from Cody Reed, able to climb up to 4th. With Danny Cochran going to be coming away 5th. 6th was Thomas Green. With Trent Jump 7th. 8th was Isaac Shelley. Nico Garcia, the birthday boy, getting a top 10 for the 78 machine. A great run for himself. And finishing out our top 10 is the 00 of Ethan Smith. You look outside of the top 10, that's where you first find Cody Reed and a couple of other drivers. Your pole sitter of No Steel coming away 12th. Tyler Dangler with just trying everything. It was similar to Cody Reed of just trying to hold back and hold position. He'll come away 13th. John Forbes, after his wild night, comes away in 15th. But here's some of the drivers outside of the top 20. Martin Morales, after all of his gambles, comes away 21st. Logan Brakey, 22nd. Jared Talmadge, who looked extremely quick, qualified 2nd, was up front looking strong, comes away 23rd. And then drivers outside, 26th, the Malik Kuntz, and ultimately 27th, Richard Thomas, who looked extremely good here tonight. Caught up in some netcode wrecks, and his night was over very quickly. I know Zach had to step away for this post-race show, but I want to say thank you for Zach for being on board for tonight's race. Also want to say thank you to Robert Moyer Jr. running productions here tonight. For myself, Sam Dyer, we want to say thank you to everyone that joined with us this evening. We've got more great racing action next week as we head to Auto Club. That's going to be an exciting race to see. But for us here tonight, we also want to say thank you to all the major sponsors of the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. First and foremost, Lariat Productions, who's the title sponsor of the series, and also sponsor tonight's race, the Battle of Bands 200, presented by Lariat Productions. Your scheme winner going to be the likes of the 55 of Samuel Garcia. Congratulations to Samuel Garcia, coming away 14th here tonight and a winner of the scheme. We also want to say thank you to Armadillo Motorsport, who was our lucky Dillo Award. Here's your scheme that won scheme of the night. We also want to say thank you to Morecast, who helps out with the Morecast 5, which is a money races that happen throughout the season. We also want to say thank you to Gridless Graphics, and for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, Whiplash SimCams for being our biggest mover award winner, as well as being our camera providers. So many great schemes we saw throughout here tonight, so many big moments, and ultimately it was getting his first win of the season. It's Nick Crawford getting it done. Crazy to see that the regular season is almost done. Just 2 more races left before we figure out the 12 drivers that will race in the chase, or will we add a few more? You have to find out and see as we are back next week for Nashville Super Speedway. But for tonight, thank you for watching these drivers here this evening for the ISRC Truck Series. We will be back next week. That's our next broadcast. We will see you at Auto Club. Who survives? We'll find out after this. We'll see you next week on next Monday.